Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the pit at Bowling Green Junior High. We got two football games for you coming up. It's the Toy Bowl. First one coming up, the Division I Championship featuring the Colts and the Broncos. Joe Brunk here with you live on stfanclub.com. Glad you guys could join us for tonight's broadcast. And two games coming your way. Division I coming up first. Joining me on tonight's broadcast, a man who, will know a whole lot more about the kids and everything happening here than I will. And he knows a lot more than me in a lot of things. But Brandon Phillips joining me on the broadcast. Brandon, it's glad to have you on, man.
You know, it's been a long time since we've done radio together or broadcasting or any other form of media, and you're still awfully humble, Joe.
We got the Colts, we got the Broncos coming into this game. Both teams 9-1 on the season. The Broncos dropped their first game of the year and then have rattled off 9 in a row to get to this point. The Colts, meanwhile, they 9-1 as well. Only game that they lost was to the Broncos back on the 19th, a 14-12 affair. So it should be a tightly contested game between these two.
Yeah, I think one of the things you have to watch in these games, particularly in Division I, but you'll see it in Division II as well, is extra points. So one of the uniquenesses to Warren County Youth Football is that if you kick and convert the extra point, it's 2 points.
Okay.
And if you run or pass it in, it's 1. Okay, so kind of the opposite of traditional football. So what gives you a real advantage sometimes in close games is if you have a kicker who can hit that consistently. And the Broncos have been very consistent in their kicking game. The Colts, I think, were consistent early, and now they've hit some struggles. But, in a one-game scenario, you never know. But obviously these two teams have some new faces, some new names, but played in the Toy Bowl last year. So this is a Toy Bowl rematch here between the Colts and Broncos yet again.
Looks like the captains have met in the middle, and looks like we're about to get this game underway. Colts the first on the field. They're wearing the blue uniforms with the white helmets, black pants, white letters and numbers. Colts will receive while the Broncos will kick, get things started. Broncos in the orange uniforms with blue letters, numbers, white helmets, blue pants. Colts will be going from left to right here to start off the game. Of course, the Broncos going from right to left.
And one of the uniquenesses also here that you'll see in the Division I Toy Bowl, which you won't see in Division II, which is the next game, is each team is allowed to have one coach on the field at all times, offense, defense, special teams. So you'll notice that as you see the special teams lining up. You'll have a coach out there kind of telling everybody where to be. And it's interesting, you get to this point of the year, and these are experienced teams. These are teams that have had a lot of success. But don't be surprised when you're transitioning offense to defense, special teams. It can take a little time sometimes to make sure everybody's there.
Well, it's going to take me some time to get, make sure everybody's in place. Now the Broncos going offside, bouncing off the Colts player and picking off the onside kick. And so the Broncos flip the script to start the game and take that first possession.
Yeah, so that's a big early start for the Broncos. And, you wonder if that was something that they had seen and thought they could take advantage of or got the lucky bounce. But either way, the Broncos are going to have the ball here starting out. And, of course, they'll get it again at half.
Starting lineup for the Broncos offense, Hudson Akins at quarterback with Hayden Garrett, Finn Jennings, Landon Sigler, Gaddy Beard, and Keith Leggett on the line. The tight end, Alex Botkin, the running backs, Caden Neudecker and Carter Clemens, the wide receiver, Kane Wright, and Zach Stumbo out there as well. So Akins in the gun, taking the snap, a handoff, and a run up the middle, gaining a few yards, getting across the 45 up to the 47.
Second down for the Broncos.
And, Joe, I'll tell you, you're going to hear a lot of that name tonight, Caden Neudecker. He is a stud running book for the Broncos, and he is by no means ever going to be, at this age, the biggest man on the field and maybe the smallest, but he does not run like that, and they feature him a lot in this offense.
So Akins again in the gun. Got a receiver on each side. Here's a snap. Handoff to Neudecker again, running up the middle, and he's broken free. Now up to the 30 to the 20. No one is going to catch him. 10-5. Touchdown, Broncos.
Right on cue.
So the Broncos start off the game kicking off. They get the onside kick, and 2 plays later, it's the Broncos in the end zone to take the early advantage. Great start for the Broncos to get things going here.
And that's the thing. Neudecker, he's explosive, he's fast, and, it's almost as if his size plays to his advantage. He gets in behind the big lineman, and then he makes a cut, and he's gone.
Broncos setting up for the kick here for the extra point. That's number 15.
Might to be Hayden Garrett.
Okay, here we go. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Puts it through, gets 2 points, and that puts the Broncos up early, 8-0.
Colts set to receive.
Yeah. What's going to be fun for us here, Brandon, is that we don't have a clear view of the clock in this game. So keeping track
Our
of
PA guy here will help us.
Well, we'll keep you up to date as best as we can. But
6:50.
6:50 remaining in the first quarter. So it's 8-minute quarters, I'm guessing?
That's correct.
There we go.
Somebody's going to get the check.
So 6:50 remaining in the first. Broncos flip the script, as we mentioned before, onside kick. And then Newdecker, 2 carries, takes it all the way to the house on the second carry. Extra point goes in as well. 8-0 your score here to get things started. Get the Broncos won the first matchup between these two teams, 14-12. So they're over halfway there to get the winning score from last time.
And if I remember correctly, Joe, all those points were in the second half. So off to a much earlier start here. Another onside kick.
Another onside kick. This time the Colts fall on top of it. And so the Colts, with really good field position to get things started, they're set right on top of the 50-yard line. Take a look at the starting lineup for the Colts offense here in the first quarter. Halo Sisson, Justin Logan, Kaysen Edison, Thatcher Stroh, Ethan Miller, Bryce Beckwith, Caden Greer, Rowan Hansen, Ziggy Carruthers, Elijah Clendenin, and Jay Anderson.
Colts line up in a trips formation to the left.
Looks like Anderson in at quarterback. In the gun, takes a snap, and it's Anderson in the backfield, shakes one defender, now on the run. Flag thrown, I believe, on the play as Anderson still running deep up the left-hand side. But you wonder if this one might be coming back. It is a block in the back called against the Colts. So that one's going to be coming back.
Against the Colts. Replay first down.
Colts, who started off this drive on the 50. First play has a blocking penalty, moves it all the way back to the 37-yard line. Anderson had a nice run on that one. Unfortunately, it goes for naught, and they move backwards.
Yeah, the Colts can't seem to get out of their way here early. Obviously, the onside kick recovered by the Broncos, the big run. And now they're behind the sticks early.
Anderson this time under center. He's got 2 running backs behind him and a receiver off to the left-hand side. Looking like probably going to be a run play. Here's a snap. Nope, quick throw, catch made. Looking for a run on the outside, but he's met by that Bronco defense as they get up past the, I believe, the 41 there.
Yeah, and you usually, I've seen it over the years. You'll have a couple teams that can do it, but you usually don't see a ton of the passing game in Division I. But obviously able to complete one there, but the Broncos made really nice pursuit and were able to get him down for a short gain.
Up to the 42 is where they get to, and they actually have to move over to the Broncos 40-yard line to pick up a first down. So still a lot of real estate to go here on second down. Anderson taking the snap, handoff here, running to the left side. Carruthers breaking some tackles and getting through. Up onto the Broncos side of the field. A big gain makes it third and manageable.
Yeah, that's a big gain. In this game, and just knowing kind of how the pace is early, and now that you're into Bronco territory, I would guess, Joe, this could be 4-down territory.
Ball is set up on the 46-yard line, so they've got 6 yards to gain here on third down. And you've got Carruthers back there at running back. Anderson under center at QB. Now a receiver going in motion from right to left on the snap, and they hand it off, running from right to left. Dives back into the inside, picks up the first down, and gets all the way up to near the 35-yard line before he's knocked down.
Yeah, nice play on the end around by Sisson. He put a foot in the ground, cut up, and got just enough for a first down. Puts the Colts in much better position on this drive.
Sisson moving the chains for the Colts as they march down the field, trailing 8-0. Still here in the first quarter of this Division I championship game of the Toy Bowl. Glad you guys could join us on stfanclub.com. Carruthers, the lone back. Sisson, a receiver over on the right side. You've got Clendenin on the left. Here's a snap, and it's Anderson going to run, ducking between the tackles, moving over to the right side. Try to get the blockers in front. He moves up to the 35-yard line. Minimal gain on that carry on first down.
Yeah, and what you see there defensively is just really good pursuit by the Broncos. You know, maybe not 11 to the ball, but you had 7 or 8, and at this age, that's saying something, and that's coaching.
Moving up to the 34 is where they set this up. Looks like the line of game for the first down is near the 28, so about 4 on that play.
Interesting to see here. They're on the right hash. They got a lot of space over there on the left side.
Here's the snap, low snap, and a handoff to Carruthers, looking for room, and he's darting out to the outside left, trying to get that first down marker. He does, and runs down the sideline before he gets out of bounds. First down, Colts.
Yeah.
Really good pursuit there by the Broncos, but Carruthers able to get the corner, turns it up, and gets another first down.
Ziggy Carruthers looking very much like another Carruthers that we've seen for a good portion of Purple's history, and actually is starting to have a lot of carry up at Navy as well, Jamel Carruthers.
I know. I think I saw a quote from one of the coaches said, shows how smart we are. We had him on the it was like
on the fifth
squad, and
yeah.
then he had about 6 touchdowns in 2 games. That changed everything.
But Ziggy Carruthers in at running back. He's going to move over to the right side of Anderson, who's now in the gun for the Colts. 2 receivers to the left here on this first down play. Here's a snap. Hesitation now, Anderson. Going to run it over to the right side, trying to get to that outside. Does so around the edge before he's knocked out of bounds. Nice run there by Anderson.
Yeah, and a really good play by Jamari. It looked as if maybe there was a little confusion on the handoff there, but either way, he was able to make a play. Big gain. One thing to note, Joe, in the Warren County Youth Football League, instead of 10-yard downs or 10 yards between first downs, it's 8.
Okay.
That's always hard for me when I'm trying to call a game.
Yeah.
You want to say 1st and 10, and it's actually 1st and 8.
1st and 8.
And it just dawned on me as we were sitting here.
Anderson lining up under center. 2 running backs in the backfield with him. Here's a snap. Hand off to Carruthers. Looking to go to the left-hand side. Gets to that outside. Ducks inside the 10 before he's out of bounds.
You know, he made, I don't know if you can see it with it being on the other side of the field where we're filming from, but he makes a really nice hesitation move. You could see the corner was starting to score him up. He makes a little bit of a hesitation to slowing down and then busts it to the outside again. Right now it seems like the Colts' game plan is to really exploit the wide side of the field.
Yeah.
You can tell, they're just playing hash to hash and going away from it.
Run time down the clock.
Yeah, getting their guys at space.
Get their defense to get a stop or two and just manage it that way. I'll have to pick up a couple stops as now Broncos picked up that extra possession with the onside kick to start off the game.
And now they're motioning into a trips formation. Carruthers is in the backfield. He's in the slot now.
Clendenin is the deep back on this one, but we got a flag before we get underway. Delay of game called on the Colts. Going to march them back a little bit here.
Joe, they adjust the penalties as well because of the yardage, but we're just going to have to roll with it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, move them back a little bit.
That's right, move them
Moves
back.
Up this
They're going to move back.
They're
they're
just going to move backwards. So the coach going to chat it up with his team real quick. And, you look at how this has gone so far. The Broncos very quick. They 2 plays and in. Colts taking their time. Just driving down methodically and, looking here to be very close to getting some points of their own.
And you got to think that's probably their game plan to be able to control the clock, and you just get a little bit behind the 8 ball with that onside kick early, and the Broncos getting the early lead.
Clendenin again, the deep back. Anderson under center with 2 receivers over on the right side. Here's a snap and a handoff going to left side. Tackle in the backfield. The Broncos read that one well, breaking through for the big tackle.
Logan on the carry.
Yeah, I think that's probably a kind of a play they don't use much. Logan is a really good runner. He plays tight end, but he doesn't get a lot of carries typically. His strength is really blocking and closing those edges. So I think they tried to catch him off guard with the tight end reverse, but the Broncos were there.
Now 2nd down. Ball set up on the 20-yard line, near it at least. Anderson taking the snap, hand off to Ziggy Carruthers, hits off the tackles and trying just to push the huddle forward. Doesn't get much.
Clendenin on the carry for a gain of 1. Colts.
So big third down here. Goal to gain. Ball is set up around the 15, outside of the 15-yard line. So a lot of real estate here, Brandon.
Yeah, you kind of have a decision. You know, do you try to play this wide side of the field, hope your playmakers can get you a big play, or do you try to get half and play for fourth down?
Anderson taking the snap from the gun, running to the left-hand side. He'll
Come
take
in
off
with
running.
a nice seal block. But Anderson's not going to be able to get outside.
Anderson
Pushed
on
out
the
of
run for
bounds.
3. Bring up fourth
Minimal
down for the
gain
Colts.
on the play. Sets up fourth down. So after all this work, the Colts getting inside the red zone, penalties, and that Broncos defense stepping up at the line. Now has the Colts looking at a fourth and kind of a long situation here. Set up on the 15. You got one play to get into the end zone.
Yeah, I think, obviously your goal here is to get points on the board here. But I think your second best scenario here would be at least get a lot of yards and kind of pin them back and set your defense up.
Here's the snap. Handoff, running to the right-hand side. Gets that outside edge, and
Nice
then is met
tackle.
by a defender and brought down shy of the end zone. But you do pick up some yards and will pin the Broncos inside the 5, but they do not get any points on that drive.
Yeah, Devon Yates, the defensive back over there, made a really, really good play. If Devon doesn't make that play, he's probably in the end zone.
So now the Broncos taking over on the 4-yard line here. Again, they started last drive back on their own about 45-yard line after the onside kick. 2 plays later, Neudecker was in the end zone. See if we get
And the
some more
Broncos
Neudecker
really
here.
like to get you off balance. Watch here. Most likely this will be a run towards that fullback.
Here's the snap.
There it is.
Handed off and a run over to the right-hand side. Minimal gain. Colts able to pick up on it.
Yeah, they really like what he can do, and you kind of start to see a trend on that first drive, and it was only a couple of plays, but they like to use that fullback to get an extra blocker, hopefully get him some space, and if he finds a crease, we've seen what he can do.
Get it across the 5, so about a yard on that run by Neudecker.
105 and rolling.
Brings up second down. First quarter flying by here thanks to that long drive from the Colts. Here's the snap. Quarterback going to take it and run it himself. Picks up some good yards, getting across the 15, near the 20 before he's brought down.
Yeah, the linebackers closed really quick. The Colts defensive end of that side lost contain. Akins made a nice move, but they closed quickly.
Brings up third down. Ball set up near the 15. Needing to get to the 20.
Yeah, this is a big down. It's a big play here, third and about 5 yards to get this first down. And if you can't get it, you assume you're in a situation you kind of have to punt. And at this age, you never know what that's going to look like, although the Broncos do have a strong kicking game.
Quarterback in the gun here. Akins
Trying to
stands
go
up
with the no snap.
and drew a defender offside.
I don't know what the call is going to be
So
here.
the official's going to talk this over here. A lot of movement
The
on
Colts,
that line.
it seemed like the Colts end or linebacker kind of jumped, and I'm not sure if he was moving to accentuate the lineman moving or if they got him.
Colts trying to signal that it was a Bronco lineman.
Yeah,
who
I'm sure
moved
there's
first.
there's probably a lot of politicking on
Yeah.
both sides going
Oh,
on
yeah.
right now.
The officials talk it over, and we'll
Colts are clapping. It looks like they're going to push it back.
So it is a false start called
Yeah.
against the Broncos. Going to move them back.
Broncos coaches are not happy with that call. It was hard to see up here exactly what happened. Clearly, they were trying to run a no snap and draw the Colts off sides, but it didn't work. Good call there.
And that buzzer means that it is the end of the first quarter. And at the end of the first, it's the Broncos 8, the Colts nothing. Broncos tucked back deep in their own side. Joe Brunk, Brandon Phillips here with you on stfanclub.com. We'll flip the field here and see what happens as we get, again, it's a third down situation. Colts needing a big stop here. And if they do, man, they could set themselves up to be right back in this game.
The Broncos lead 8-0.
And the only time these two teams met back on the 19th of October, just a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago rather, and the Broncos got the win in that game, 14-12. Big special teams victory for the Broncos there. It's the Colts hoping for a big stop here, trying to force the punt and get themselves favorable field position on their next drive. First quarter saw the Broncos with an onside kick and a run in by Neudecker for the touchdown. The Colts on their first drive able to run it down, got deep into the red zone, but was not able to score. And now looking to keep the field position in favor of the Colts here. Again, third down, line to gain is the 20. They're set up around the 5 now due to the false start penalty for the end of the quarter. Here's the snap and the handoff, run up the middle, minimal gain. That'll bring up fourth down. Big stop there for the Colts. And the punt squad going to come out for the Broncos. Seeing the new line come out. Colts fans making some noise here.
Big stop for the Colts. The false start penalty on the Broncos certainly put them in a tight spot. Now, if you're the Colts here, the big thing, I'm telling you, Joe, having coached in this division, it's risk-reward. Because you'd love to get one of your good runners, one of your athletes like they have back here, with a good return, maybe an opportunity to break one, but you also want to make sure you possess the ball. And, you know, in college, NFL, high school, these punts, they're tricky.
Yeah, I believe that's Martin, who is the farthest back for the Colts, looking to receive the punt.
Neudecker's punting.
Here comes the kick.
Nice kick.
Nice kick.
Sisson on the return.
Sisson with the catch. And
clean return. He's made a move.
bobbing and waving. He's
got a
broken through.
chance.
Going to run it all the way in. Touchdown,
There it is.
Colts. And just like that, Colts have the chance here to break this to a tie or a one-point game. We'll see if they elect to do here on the extra point. But it's a touchdown on the punt return by Sisson. So defense for the Colts doing the job on that second possession that they're out there on the field. Force the punt, and special teams does the rest.
It's like the Colts might be keeping their offense on the field here. You know, that's one of the things we talked about, Joe, that the kicking game gives you such an advantage. And if you're not feeling good and confident that, you know, you can make that kick, then you don't want to start losing too many points early. There's a big difference over the course of the game. I mean, if you have 2 or 3 scores in this game and you're getting, say, if they're 8-16-24 and you're 7-14-21, that's a lot better than, say, 24-18, where now it's a whole touchdowns difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you really got to take points where you can get them.
Again, the offense for the Colts, and on that first drive for the Colts offense, you saw them move the ball down the field, but it was when they got to this area that they ran into some issues.
Yeah, the Broncos, they're really playing the middle of the field here.
They got some big linemen out there, the Broncos do, and there's a snap. Anderson able to break through, and he punches his way in. So Anderson runs it in for one and turns it into a one-point game, 8-7 in favor of the Broncos. So now we'll see the Colts kicking squad out here and see what they elect to do on the kickoff. We've seen onside attempts from the Broncos both times that they have kicked off. We'll see if the Colts try to gain back that extra possession.
Well, and I tell you, the interesting thing to me is it's not uncommon at this age, because if you don't have someone that can really boot it down there, you could play some squib or onside kicks, and hey, off chance that you get it, worst case, you just play it. But what's interesting about the Broncos, I mean, he's doing like an NFL, college, high school onside kick. I mean, he's kicking it down and topping it and, you know, trying to get that bounce. And he was successful the first time.
We'll see what the Colts do here. Here comes the kick, and he just kind of squibs it up, and it's caught by the Broncos and around the 42. Akins
And I believe
Bring it
Hayden
in.
Garrett is the kickoff guy for the – oh, it's Manley. Okay,
Manley.
so Manley's
All right.
the kickoff guy for the Broncos.
Reynolds and Manley.
Who's the kickoff guy for the Broncos?
Reynolds.
Okay, there we go. My PA guy's giving me 3 different names over here. I'm not sure which one it is. Guess we'll see the next time he comes back out.
Colts defense, who just did the job moments ago, forced the punt, and special teams ran it in for the touchdown. Not a lot of break for them. They got to step back out here and do it again. This time, a little bit more padding for the Broncos offense. They're not tucked back near the end zone. They've got the ball out on the 42.
And you'll see some substitutions on both sides this quarter as second quarter offenses and defenses come into the game. Every player in the Warren County Youth Football League plays at least 2 quarters.
Okay.
And so we have the sheets up here. Obviously, we can keep up with that, but you'll see some new faces in the game.
It's like Akins remains at quarterback for the Broncos. Here's the snap, and
Nice run.
it's like the
Akins
run
around the corner
by
for a gain of
Akins.
4.
You know, and interestingly enough, Akins did not start the season as the starting quarterback. They moved to him a few games into the year, and they have just really been rolling ever since. He's a very, and having actually coached Hudson in some other sports, I can tell you he's a really smart kid. It's, you tell him once and he gets it, and he's a really good athlete on top of that. You put those 2 things together, and that's the perfect combination for a good quarterback.
Again, we're here in the second quarter. Broncos leading 8-7. Second down play here on the 46-yard line. Picked up about 4 on that last carry. Here's a snap, and they're going to run it again, this time up the left-hand side. Gets across that first down marker, moving the chains.
Yeah, you'll notice a theme. They're running to the fullback I think every time, Joe. They've moved Newdecker. They've kind of moved him sometimes over the course of the play, but ultimately wherever that fullback is lined up is where they're running, and they're really blocking it well.
This time it's been the Akins show. Both runs on this drive have been quarterback keepers. Akins picking up that first down. Ball now set up on the Colts 48-yard line.
Let's see here. That fullback's to the right now.
There's a snap. Akins.
There it is.
Handoff, run up the right side through
Nice
the
run.
tackles. Gets across the 40 before he's brought down at the 39.
Newdecker up the middle for a gain of 7.
So the fullback I think is number
Second down for the Colts.
18, which is and by the way, they're twins. So Kaiden and Caden Newdecker are twins.
Let's just make that even more
And I
confusing.
should have
There's
shared that with you.
there's an I and an A. So
Yeah.
it's the
And I think
everything else is the same.
And they're 18 and 16, so they're kind of hard to tell apart. Plus, they're twins.
So that one, it was Kaiden Newdecker on that last carry for the Broncos. Moves the ball up to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I got Kaiden at fullback, Caden at tailback.
Here's the second down. Akins takes a snap, handoff to Caden Newdecker, who pushes the pile forward and looks to be ahead of the chains. Move it down for another first down for the Broncos.
Of course, the head coach for the Broncos is Josh Jennings, and when that offense is on the field, he is also the offensive coordinator. Michael Crow, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, is the coach if you're watching here on the broadcast that you see out there on that side of the ball.
All set up on the 36. Handoff to Caden Newdecker, running up the left side again. Able to gain a few yards on the carry.
Second down for the Colts.
And for either offense, and I'm an old school guy, Joe. Now, I like some of the high octane spread and all that as well. But there's nothing I enjoy more than a grinded out drive that concludes with a touchdown. 4, 5, 6, 4, 5. And, of course, both of these teams have the kind of kids that could break it at any second. But right now you're seeing these defenses really settle in and making the offenses work.
In this third drive for the Broncos. First one ended with a touchdown. Second one resulted in a punt that led to a touchdown for the Colts. And this one shaping up well for the Broncos as it's Kaiden Newdecker on that carry.
For a gain of 6. Bring up first down for
Picks
the
up
Broncos.
another first down for the Broncos.
We got 4:03 once the official winds the clock. Broncos, in an interesting position here, Joe. If you can drive and score here and run down some clock, and then you get the ball back to start the third quarter, that puts you in a really good position. Fullback moves over to the left.
Here's a snap, and they'll
And
run
run
it to
to
the
him.
left. Akins on the carry. running over to that left-hand side, gains a few yards on the carry.
On the keeper for a gain of 4, tackled by
You know, and right now, the Broncos, I mean, they're running to that fullback, and they're just saying, hey, here's what we're going to do and stop it. You know, and right now, the Colts just haven't really been able to get them behind the chains.
You know, that new Decker combo.
I'll tell you, if you're watching on the broadcast, I'm trying to see, I think it's – trying to see here.
Here's a snap on second down, handoff. Caden Newdecker breaking through. He's got the big gain, and he's going to take down some big yards. Not quite in the end zone, but he gets it inside the 5.
For a gain of 14. There's a first down for the Broncos.
That's a big play for the Broncos because now they're inside the red zone.
Colts are going to take a timeout.
Control. Yeah, I think that's a good one to take for the Colts.
Yeah.
Try to collect themselves here because you certainly don't want to find yourselves giving up that touchdown, as you mentioned. Start off the third quarter by kicking off again to this Bronco team.
And let's recognize this Broncos offensive line. Kyson Turner, Landon Sigler, Guy Pretty, Keith Leggett. And obviously the receivers, some of these guys getting into the game. Alex Botkin, we talked about Newdecker. Hayden Garrett's in the game on offense this quarter. I mean, these guys are really controlling the line of scrimmage. Newdecker's finding the creases. Aikens on occasion to mix it up just enough. And now they're back in scoring position with 3 minutes to play in the first half.
So they've got plenty of time here now that they're inside the 5. Give it the 1-point lead, 8-7. Broncos leading this one as they kick the extra point. Got 2 out of it. Aikens in the gun, takes a snap, a handoff, running over to the right-hand side,
again.
and almost untouched all the way in for the touchdown.
Up the middle for a 3-yard touchdown.
I don't know if a fullback has ever gotten player of the game, and they've put a couple different guys in that position.
Yeah.
But I think if if Caden Newdecker continues to run like he is, he's going to be an early candidate, and he may have to buy those guys dinner.
I would say so. At least like a bag of Snickers or gummy worms or something. I don't know the equivalent.
Cole, our PA guy, says Sour Patch Kids.
There you go. So Sour Patch Kids, the way to go.
Sour Patch Kids.
Broncos going for the kick for the extra point. Here it goes. It is up, and it is. Well,
no, it's good.
It's good.
We're up here in the booth. It looked like it may have just went under the crossbar, but it inches over, and that's another big conversion for the Broncos, as we talked about before the game, Joe.
Yeah, because now makes it 16-7, and even if the Colts were to drive it down the field and get a score and they go for 2, they'd still be a point shy. So you're looking at a 2-score game now with the Broncos with the advantage. Bring it back towards the middle of the field here. Of course, we've seen the Broncos go with the onside kick each time that they've done the kickoff. You'd assume that they would go for it again here. In under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Colts really need another score because we just mentioned, you do the math, it's a 2-score game already in this one. The Broncos get the possession to start off the third quarter. So let's see how the Colts respond after that touchdown by Newdecker and the no onside kick. Looking for the return, and, well, there's no return on that one. Brought down at the 40. Kind of hit off the return man, and he was able to pick it up and hold on to it, but no return, and it's a decent long field here for the Colts offense. Starting off at the 40, so they've got 60 yards to go and under 3 minutes to do it. All set up on the 41-yard line to get things started for the Colts.
Sorry about that, Joe. Sending out tweets,
Oh.
tweet updates.
Gotta keep everyone up to date here, man.
Keeping them posted.
We're glad that you all can join us here on stfanclub.com. Maybe also on our YouTube stream. We have it there as well. Sporting Times YouTube channel. Here comes the handoff running up the right side. Big gain up the right. Has the first down before he's pushed out of bounds.
Was that Martin? Yeah, 35.
Martin on the carry for a gain
Yeah.
of 7.
Nice run there. Good start to the drive.
Second down.
2:28 to play here in the first half. And the Colts are going to have a sense of urgency here, Joe. They really need to find a way to get some points before the half.
All set up on the 50, so it's second down. He's pushed out of bounds before he got to that first down marker. You got Anderson under center. 2 running backs behind him. Here's a snap. Handoff, running from right to left.
Martin.
Shakes one tackle, gets that first down before he's brought down on the Broncos' 45-yard line. It's a nice gain there for Ziggy Carruthers.
Yeah, and one of the things, and of course at this age it's hard to think about these kinds of things, but you're so close to the sideline and you're trying to preserve time. You really need to try to get out of bounds there. He was not able to, so they stopped it to move the chains, and now they'll wind it, and we're at 2:12 and running.
With these offenses primarily being run attacks, it's not like you stop the clock with an incomplete pass too often either. This time Anderson gets out into the gun. He steps back. Hesitation draw to hand up the middle. Nice gain across the 40 up to the 38.
Carruthers up the middle for a gain of
Carruthers on the carry again.
6. Bring up second down for the Colts.
Brings up second down. Getting the ball inside the 40. Colts have moved the ball pretty well here on this drive. Trying to use another first down here to stop the clock for a moment.
Colts are really bunching it in here. Broncos defense is doing the same.
Here's the snap, and Carruthers breaks one tackle, gets to the outside, now is knocked out of bounds.
Carruthers around the corner for a gain of 5.
That's enough for the first down.
And I don't know if, it's hard to tell sometimes when the kids start bouncing around what the original play call was. But I think if you're the Colts here, what you're looking for is these tight formations, get the Broncos to pull their defense in. And then if Carruthers can find a way to get to the edge, you're going to have a lot of real estate.
Yeah, it's like
there.
I think if you can give as much field as you can to Ziggy Carruthers, I think you're going to be in a good spot if you're the Colts.
Yeah.
He is the running back on the right side of Anderson who's in the gun. They have another one to the left of Anderson. Here's the snap, and now it's going to be Anderson running with it to the right side. Tried to juke to the inside, but
can't get there.
Good pursuit by the Broncos defense, and no gain on the carry.
And what about the big man in the middle for the Broncos, number 92, Guy Pretty? I mean, he really, even from up here, he stands out, and obviously that's a kid that I'm sure makes you think about where you want to go, because he's going to take up a lot of space in the middle, and he's getting in the backfield a lot.
Yeah, you're probably assuming he's taking up a couple blockers as he's coming forward, so you're already having to adjust for that and try to. And that may be why you're seeing a lot of runs to the outside for the Colts, because he's right there in the middle coming through. Colts taking the time out here.
Offensively this quarter, you've got Ben Coombs, Michael Crow, Jaden Anderson, Thatcher Stroud, Ethan Miller, Liam Manley, Caden Greer, Justin Logan, Ziggy Carruthers, and Nevontae Martin in for the Colts.
Martin, the running back on the left side. Carruthers on the right, Anderson under center. Takes a snap, handoff to Carruthers, jukes to the inside, now looking to get to the outside on the left. Shaking tackles all the way. Gets inside the 25 before he's brought down.
Nice run by Ziggy. But the thing is, he is an explosive guy, Joe, and I'm sure if we had all the statistics, he's got a lot of big touchdown runs this year. The one thing that the Broncos are doing is they're somewhat containing him. Now, they're not able to stop him, but they're containing him. When the clock's not your friend, that becomes an issue for the Colts. 37 seconds and rolling here.
3 receivers over on the right-hand side as Anderson jumps out into the gun. Martin running back to the right side. Here's the snap. Anderson going to run with it to the right, but good contain here. Anderson being patient. They'll let the blockers develop. Gets across the 20 and then is brought out of bounds. That's a solid run there by Anderson. He picks up the first down.
22 seconds remain in the half.
And then gets out of bounds, stopping the clock.
Looks like where are they here, Joe? Just inside the 20. So the clock will start on the snap here. I think the Colts have time for probably 2 plays.
And the officials now calling time. Talking things over here. Actually, it's a timeout taken.
Did the Colts take the timeout?
I believe so. Nope, it's the Broncos who take this one.
So, there's a couple schools of thought here. Now, the clock is stopped. So if
Mm-hmm.
you were going to take a defensive timeout to get organized, that's a good time to do it, right? You don't want to do it when the clock is rolling.
Yeah.
So this is probably a good decision, kind of regroup, knowing the Colts have 1, maybe 2 plays.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what we want to do here and get regrouped. Of course, it gives the Colts offense a chance to do the same without burning a timeout.
Gives them
so
an
there's
extra
pros and
time
cons
talk.
to everything. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it pays off here.
Who's
that?
Colts able to take advantage here.
I think they have 1.
And
I know
if-
they've taken 2.
And if they can score, they've taken 2 timeouts already. The Colts have. I don't know how many timeouts we have here in the Toy Bowl.
3.
Okay.
3.5.
So there you go. So they would have 1 more to use. Anderson running to the outside. Blockers not there to get in front, and just
48.
shoved down there in the backfield. And that's a big-time play by Tylen Taylor.
Yeah, that's a football is not a game of individuals, but that was a really good individual play by Taylor.
Taylor just wrapping them up, just hold on. It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
boom, put him down.
And what you see is between him and Pretty, they're lining up either nose and right next to the nose, or they're splitting and getting in the A gaps, and they're really trying to shut the middle down and push these guys, to their linebackers out in the C and D gaps, and they're just really closing. As I said, to the Colts, though, the positive is you've been able to move the ball and even overcome getting behind the chains. But again, here with 11.7 seconds, the clock is not your friend. So you've got to find a way to get a big play here.
Probably looking at the final play of the half here.
And the Broncos got a safety, Cash Ferris, I believe. Okay, he was lined up in the end zone. He was ready to knock it down.
Now he's coming back.
I don't know. Coach trying to figure it out where he wants him.
Here comes the snap, and
So
here comes the
there's a
pass
pass.
play to Carruthers to the left side, looking to make the run. Gets through a couple tackles. He's brought down
Clock is rolling.
at the 15, and that is the end of the first half.
Yeah, I think the Colts are out of timeouts. That'll take it to the half.
Yep, that was the final one. And so at the end of the half, it is Broncos 16, the Colts 7. That's a big stop there for the Broncos at the end of the half, and it will be the Broncos who will have the first possession of the second half. And right now we're going to take ourselves a quick little breather, and looks like the screen stopped anyway, so I'm going to fix that camera here during the break as well. And we'll be right back with our Toy Bowl coverage on stfanclub.com. And getting back to the action here on stfanclub.com. Joe Brunk, Brandon Phillips here with you. It's the second half about to get underway. Broncos and Colts in the Division I championship game here of the Toy Bowl. And this game started off with an onside kick. The Broncos going with the onside kick, and a couple plays later scored the first touchdown, kicked it for the extra 2 points. Colts did not score on their first drive, but next time the Broncos were forced to punt. The Colts returned the punt all the way in for the touchdown. They kept the offense on the field, ran it in for the extra point to make it 8-7. And then the Broncos' next drive took it all the way down the field. Neudecker getting it into the end zone, and they kicked it again for the 2 points, which made it 16-7. Colts, they drove, and they were close to scoring there at the end of the half, but time ran out. And so now it's the Broncos that will be getting the possession here to start off the third quarter.
And real quick, we've got some notes here I want to share.
Yeah.
Maybe we can hit one team now, and if the kickoff will come back. But just recognize some of the coaches, and we'll start with the Colts. Charles Duff is in his fourth year with the Colts. He's the head coach. Levance Anderson's the offensive quarterback. You may remember his name. Was a really good football and baseball player at Bowling Green. Michael Crow, who has a son on the team, Michael Crow Jr., who you'll see out. He's the defensive coordinator. Coach Edison, his first year on the Colts staff, handles the spotter sheet. Has a son on the team, Coach Brett Coombs, who when he's not coaching Warren County Youth Football, he's a Kentucky State Trooper, so we appreciate that.
There
Coach Jared Clendenin, a name you might recognize from the Hilltoppers. Obviously, he was a tremendous defensive end at WKU. His son's on the team. And Coach Patrick Hansen, who has this is his first year on the coaching staff here, and he has a son on the team named Rowan.
There you go. So look at the Colts coaches. We'll get to the Broncos coaches
the next stop.
The second half.
I got them here queued up.
You're all ready to go. We're ready to go here in the second half. The Colts to kick off, and I'll get them on the screen here. We'll back it up here. Running camera duty as well as doing play-by-play. I'm not used to doing both of those, so it's a new look, a new work here for me. So hopefully I'm getting the ball mostly in the shot. And here, set up on the 40. Colts going to kick off.
I'm in awe of your efforts, Joe.
Oh, yeah, it's nothing really. You're not seeing how it shows up on the stream. So
that's true. I'm just watching the game real time. I'm not subjected to it.
Here comes the kick. It's a full-on kick. The Broncos catch it and just corral it at the 40. So no return on the kickoff, but the Broncos hold on to it, and that is the important thing. I really the big thing on kickoff is just hold on to it, keep that possession. And the Broncos, because they went with that onside kick, they got that extra possession, and now that's the difference in this game.
I'm telling you, as a semi-retired Warren County Youth Football coach, I can tell you there is no greater stress than when you're running special teams in Division I. and you've seen it on both sides. The Colts have a special teams touchdown tonight on the punt return, and obviously the Broncos with the onside kick. They were able to cash that in early to take the lead.
So the Broncos offense coming back out onto the field. Hudson Akins back in at quarterback. He is in the gun. Got a running back to his left.
Be interesting to see what kind of adjustments the Colts make here.
Here's the
snap.
Try
to slow down Neudecker.
Hand off to Neudecker.
Hand on him and
runs up the middle, plows over a defender, getting across the 50, and picks up that first down. Neudecker running hard on that one.
Neudecker on the carry. Gain of 9. It'll be a Broncos first down.
Neudecker found the crease up the middle, and then when the defender in front of him, he doesn't care, just runs over that guy and keeps on going.
No, it looks like for the Broncos this quarter will be, of course, Akins at quarterback, Hayden Garrett, Kyson Turner, Finn Jennings, Tylen Taylor, Keith Leggett, Zach Stumbo, Caden Neudecker, Jet Reynolds, Carter Clemens, and number 88, Tate Simpson on the offensive side of the ball.
There you go.
A little motion by the Broncos.
Here's the snap, and it'll be Akins on the carry himself.
Nice
and he breaks out to the right side and picks up another first down, takes this one all the way down to the 36-yard line. Moving the chains once again. This time Akins on the quarterback keeper.
Akins on the keeper. That's good enough for another Broncos first down.
So Broncos, they're able to get this drive here and get that 2-point. Really could put this one out of reach for the Colts. I mean, they could really bury them early here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you almost want to say it's too early at the start of the third quarter to think you're in that situation, but this is kind of a must-stop situation for the Colts.
Akins in the gun with a running back to his right in Neudecker. Here's the snap, handoff to Neudecker, running to the left. Breaks one tackle, but there's just a whole host of Colts right there. He's able to fall forward, though, across the 35 up to the 34.
You know, that was great pursuit in great kind of gang tackling, where everybody just kind of to come together to make the tackle. But credit Newdecker. I mean, he was hit probably 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and was able to get a positive gain.
Yeah, tough runs here from Newdecker here on this drive. Ran one up the middle, plowing over a defender earlier. Now takes that one and moves the huddle forward. Pick up a yard or two across the 35 up to the 34. Broncos needing to get up past the 30 up to about the 27-yard line for that first down. But it's second down here. You got a receiver over on the left-hand side. You've got Akins in the gun with the running back to his right in Newdecker. Same formation as the last play. And here comes the snap, a handoff. Run over the left-hand side, breaking through, and again, another nice run there, getting close to the chains.
Newdecker on the carry, gain of 4, brings up third down.
Caden Newdecker.
Correction, first down.
Carry after carry, and picks up another first down for the Broncos.
Yeah, initially just following the spotter over there, it looked like it was going to be right at the first down mark, but he did get across.
Now up to the 26-yard line. Newdecker again moving over to the right side of Akins. They've just been running it to the left side here this drive. See if the Colts can put a stop to that. Here comes a snap, and they fake it. Akins going to run with it up the right side, gets past everybody, and, well, gets another first down, moving it close to the 10-yard line, or up to the 15, excuse me.
Akins on the keeper. That's good enough for another Broncos first down.
Ball set up on the 16-yard line.
Defensively this quarter, the Colts have Noah Miller, Devontre Martin, DeKion DJ Austin, Cam Lewis, Trey Mack McCarthan, Caden Anderson, Rowan Hanson, William Rigsby, Shane Tisdale, Michael Crow, and Halo Sisson.
Akins in the gun again. Just carried it for the big gain last play. Newdecker to his right in the backfield. A couple blockers on the left side. Here's a snap running to the left for Newdecker. Breaks through the tackles and gains a couple, moving it across the 15.
Yeah, this has been, this is kind of the ideal drive here for the Broncos. You want to do two things coming in with the lead in the possession in the third quarter. Number one, obviously you want to end this with a score and put a pretty good margin between you and the Colts. But number two, you want to eat up some clock.
And that's what they're certainly
doing.
They're
doing a little bit of both.
They've taken up over half of the quarter.
We're at 3:45 and rolling right now. And so the Colts really need to find a stop or a turnover, something to stop this Broncos momentum.
Akins again in the gun. Got a blocker on each side. Akins going to run with it himself. Going wide to the right side, then cuts back in. And he is close to that touchdown marker. He's going to be short. But a nice run there by Akins to set him close.
Akins on the carry brings up third down.
And it looks like we've got a situation where the Broncos could pick up a first down and not score here, but yet be very close to the end zone. So they could possibly just fall forward with the ball, get that first down, run some more time off the clock before they punch it in.
You're kind of in a position, it's third and inches. A first down with no score here is not necessarily the worst thing, and they're loading up the left side. My guess is you're going to see Newdecker coming across the formation, running to that side.
A lot of blockers on that left, as you
There it
mentioned.
is.
Here's the handoff to Newdecker going between tackles, and he breaks through, getting across the 5, and that's enough for a first down. So that's precisely what happened. The Broncos pick up that first down, but they do not score. And so, again, moving the chains, but keeping the possession. Get to run down some more clock.
Nice tackle by number 37, Rowan Hanson there for the Colts. Able to get in the backfield and bring him down. Unfortunately, they only needed about 2 inches to get the first down. So they got what they needed. The clock continues to run at 2:35, and the Broncos are on the move.
Taking a good chunk of the – with the way that the Broncos have been able to run the ball and the way the Colts have been meticulously running it down the field as well, the Colts may only get – one possession in this half. Here's a run up the left-hand side. He's in.
He's in.
Touchdown, Newdecker.
Is that his third of the night, I believe?
I believe it is.
Broncos come out, look to convert their third extra point on the evening.
And I don't have the kicker in the shot here. Let's fix that a little bit.
Yeah, man, give Hayden Garrett some love.
There we go.
Joey's 2 for 2 tonight. Akins on the hold. Excuse me.
And here comes the kick. It is up. That's got a
got
boot
that
to
one.
it. And it's good. So
Last time it was close. That time that was a no-doubter.
Yeah, no doubt about that one. 24-7 now your score. The Colts have got to start thinking, well, if we can drive it down the field and score, they may need to start looking at that 2-point possibility here, Brandon.
Yes, sir. Touchdown by Newdecker. Extra point is good by Garrett. Score is now Broncos 24, Colts 7. Broncos set to kick off.
And really effectively, that score there has now turned this into a 3-score game. Even if the Colts get it and get the 2-point conversion on 2 more touchdowns, they would still be behind 23-24. So the Broncos have really set themselves up in a good position here.
And they've shifted the extra defender over here to this side, and that's where they go with it.
Another onside kick opportunity, but the Colts grab and hold on to this one.
Isaac Reed, really good hands. Again, they have really mastered the art of this traditional, what I call the traditional onside kick, because that's not the onside kick you usually see at the youth level. It's usually more of a squib or kind of a slow roller, but they've had a lot of effect getting bounce on that ball.
The Colts going to start this drive, set up on their own 49. Again, we are late in the third quarter. The Broncos taking 6 minutes on this drive. They took a ton of time and get the touchdown. Almost a perfect situation for the Broncos. And their defense has been pretty good here as well. Again, have not allowed an offensive touchdown in this game. Anderson will look to change that here for the Colts. He takes a snap, running to the right side, now cuts back towards the left, looking for room on the outside, and breaks free, getting across the 45 before he's brought down. And that's just a tough run for Anderson. He's trying to weave through some defenders on that.
He may have ran 35 yards to get 5, but it's 5 yards that they needed, and it works.
Moves the ball up to the Broncos 45-yard line. They'll bring up second down. Got about 3 yards to gain on this one.
Colts going back to the tight formation.
Anderson moving under center, 2 running backs behind him. Here's the snap and a handoff to Carruthers, running up the left-hand side. Looking for a gap, finds a gap, breaks through a tackle, and moves it all the way up to the 30 before he's brought down.
Carruthers on the run. That run will be good enough for a Colts first down.
Those are the types of runs that the Colts are going to be needing here going forward. They need big yardage plays if they're going to be able to score enough here, because they're not only needing just 2 scores, they're needing 3 scores in this one, and now a Broncos player going to go down. We'll take a look at him. Taking a look at the leg here, one of the Broncos defensive players. Again, glad you guys could join us here on stfanclub.com or on the Sporting Times YouTube channel. Either way, thank you for joining us here.
So we got a break here. We were talking about some of the coaches for the Colts. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Broncos now. Of course, Josh Jennings is the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Warren Central class of 1993.
There you go.
So a former Dragon. Danny Ferris is the defensive coordinator. He's a Bowling Green graduate. Drew Beard, you may recognize that name, is the special teams coordinator, class of 2000 at Bowling Green. Jason Reynolds, who's an assistant, Bowling Green class of 96. He was a defensive end wide receiver. Chad Garrett, Warren Central High School, and Ryan Clements, guess where he's from? Grayson County High School, class of 97.
It's nice to see, some Purples and some Dragons working together on the coaching staff here to work to get themselves a championship. And it is Anderson at this time on the keeper, and he is stuffed by the Broncos defense. Big stop there for the Broncos, as we're probably getting close towards the end of this third quarter. Again, the Broncos took about 6 minutes off the clock.
33 seconds and rolling here.
With that initial drive of the second half. And again, turn this into a 3-score game in favor of the Broncos. Colts need to move quick. Anderson in the gun. He's got 3 receivers set up over on the right-hand side.
Yeah, back to this trips formation, the offset back with Carruthers in the middle.
Takes the handoff. Anderson going to run it the opposite way to the left, and he's met basically at the line, brought down at the 30.
Anderson around the corner for a third down for the Colts.
Brings up third down, and that is the end of the third quarter. With your score, the Broncos 24, the Colts 7. Broncos well in control of this game. See if the defense can hold up here against the Colts drive.
That's the end of the third quarter.
They get one stop here, and they may be able to put this one almost to bed. But we got one more quarter to go here in this Division I championship. In the Broncos coming in this game 9-1 on the season. They lost their first game of the season. Have gone on to win 9 straight, including a win over the Colts, 14-12, back on October the 19th. So tightly contested game the last time these two teams met. But the Broncos kind of take the gamble at the beginning of this game with the onside kick, able to pick it up, gain that extra possession, and they've just been able to capitalize ever since, keeping the Colts multiple scores away due to, well, the extra possession to start off the game and their ability to go for 2 with the kick. We'll see how the Colts respond here. It's a third down play. Ball inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. Anderson in the gun. He's got Carruthers to his left. Trips formation set up on the right.
Definitely 4-down territory here, Joe.
Here's the snap. Handoff to Ziggy Carruthers. Running to the right side. Trying to get to that edge, and he gets it. Picks up the first down. Whole lot more breaking through before he's pushed out of bounds. Big gain there by Ziggy Carruthers.
Yeah, that's just what the Colts need, and that's really what they've been trying to do tonight, is set up the inside run, find some lanes for Carruthers to get outside, but the Broncos have done a really good job. Even when he's gotten yards, he usually doesn't get a lot. They're able to contain and really stop the big play.
Yeah, he's been able to pick up a couple big runs on this drive, but it's taken him some time to set up those big runs. And clock not your friend if you're a Colts fan right now. Running back to the left here. I believe that's
got Martin.
Martin.
Shifts him back.
Trips over on the left-hand side. Here's a snap. Handoff. Fake. Then Anderson going to run with it. Shakes one tackle. Shakes off another. And then a host of Broncos able to catch up to him after a gain. Makes it 2nd and goal for the Colts. In their first drive of the game, they got inside the red zone, but some penalties and some big stops by the Broncos kept them out of the end zone. Their only touchdown has come off a punt return. Same formation. Here's the handoff. Give off to Martin running up the left side. Breaks off the tackle and now cuts back in.
Touchdown.
And he's in. Touchdown, Colts.
Martin around the corner for a 5-yard touchdown.
The Colts showing some signs of life here.
Well, that's what you needed, Joe. It's still a long road to hoe, but it's got to start here with a score. Now they'll have to go for the extra point.
It's 24-13 with that extra point pending here. And it looks like the offense staying out there for the Colts. Going to go for 1. Anderson under center, takes a snap, handoff to Ziggy Carruthers. Run to the right side, and he...
so he kind of stopped. It looked like he had an opportunity to go in, and he's maybe going to cut back, but he gets in.
Broncos.
So that makes it 24-14 now. So that cuts it back to now a 2-score game. Now the Colts.
It'd be interesting to see what they do here on the kickoff.
Yeah.
If you have some type of onside kick play, this is where you're going to have to use it.
Yeah, you certainly are, because we're already in the fourth quarter. You're down by 2 score, and you're having to give it back to the Broncos here. So you've got to get a couple of stops. The Broncos, when they've had the ball, they've not really been, other than the first drive of the game, they've not really been looking to score quick. They've been able just to drive down, take a ton of time off the clock each time, and the perfect example of that was their last drive, which took 6 minutes off in the third quarter.
Well, I think that's what they're going to look to do here. They're going to load up one side of the ball, run right behind them, and try to grind out this clock.
And the Colts going to go with the onside here. Broncos able to fall on top of it, and the Broncos will start right at the 50-yard line.
Special teams coordinator Beard, excited to see that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So as the Broncos offense comes on the field here in the fourth quarter, let's give them a shout out here. You got Hudson Akins, Hayden Garrett, Kyson Turner, Finn Jennings, Tylen Taylor, been a monster on the defensive side of the ball tonight. Keith Leggett, Zach Stumbo, of course, Caden Newdecker, Jet Reynolds, Carter Clemens, and Tate Simpson. Defensively for the Colts, you're going to see Jamari Anderson, Isaac Reed, Noah Miller, DJ Austin, Trey Mack McCrathen, Elijah Clendenin, Rowan Hanson, Ziggy Carruthers, Shine Tisdale, Michael Crow, and Halo Sisson. Of course, Coach Crow, the defensive coordinator.
And I said one Colts player off to the sideline before we got the play underway, but a flag come out before we get things started here on this drive for the Broncos. Looks like it was a substitution issue for the Colts. So penalty against the Colts. Gonna move the ball up into the Colts territory.
Yeah, 6:52 to play here, and you do not want to give the Broncos any more yards or extra plays.
Yeah, I was like, they took 6 minutes off the
anything that's going to extend the
last
quarter.
drive. Yeah,
or extend the drive this quarter.
now sets the ball up on the 46-yard line on the Colts side of the field.
I want to thank our friends at the Bowling Green Purples Soccer Booster Club running concessions tonight. These burgers,
Yeah,
incredible.
might have to head out there between games
Need to
here,
partake,
pick something
Joe.
up.
Looks like the Broncos are really going to run the play clock down here.
Yeah, they
Which
are
is the right thing to do.
taking
you're
their sweet time.
trying to bring this thing home.
Aikens taking the snap, hand off to Newdecker, running in between the tackles, now breaking up the middle, over a defender, moves his way up to the 35-yard line. Big gain there. And it's a first down for the Broncos. You know, and you said we'd be saying the name Newdecker a lot,
That's
and
what I'm
that
telling
is
ya.
what we have been doing all night here for the Broncos. Whether it's been Caden or Kaiden, it's been mostly Caden. They've been getting the job done.
He's an impressive runner, Joe. Like I said, he's not the biggest guy out there by any stretch of the imagination, but he runs like he is. And again, as I said earlier in the first half, I think, he uses his size to an advantage, because there's the Broncos are pretty big offensively across the front. He gets in behind there, and then he just finds a crease and goes.
Here comes the snap, handoff, running over to the
Jet
left-hand
Reynolds.
side. Reynolds on the carry, gets it across 35, gets a yard.
Bring up second down for the Colts.
Get Jet in the stat book there.
Again, the Broncos perfectly content, taking some time off the clock here in the fourth quarter, leading this one 24-14.
Yeah,
Joe
we're
Brunk.
at 5:25 and rolling, Joe.
Joe Brunk, Brandon Phillips here with you. Glad you could join us for the Toy Bowl here on STFanClub.com. Aikens in the gun, same formation. They just have two running backs, one on each side of Aikens in the backfield. And here's the snap. Time to hand off to Newdecker, running to the left side, breaks back between the tackles, but met
nice tackle
by
by
the
Carruthers.
Colts. And Carruthers with the big time tackle. He's trying to get the strip, trying to force
Yeah,
that
he
fumble.
did. Newdecker has really been wearing the middle of the field out tonight, and I know it's been frustrating for the Colts defense, and I think you saw that in that tackle right there by Carruthers. And as you said, Joe, a very heads-up play, trying to strip the ball out, knowing the Colts are going to need two possessions.
The Colts taking a time out there. Trying to stop the clock any way they can. That's the first time out they've used in this half.
Yeah, and you've got them behind the chains here, so it's probably a good time to use these timeouts. Mostly you're going to have to recover an onside kick. And so if you can use your timeouts here, potentially get the ball back and score, you're not going to have a lot of time left, but then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to try to get an onside kick and, hopefully get one or two plays there at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But long ways to go before we get there.
I was like, but they've got to get a stop here. The Broncos with the ball and the 10-point lead here in this Division I championship game. Both these teams coming into this contest 9-1 on the season. Aikens, same formation in the gun, got a blocker to the left, now shifts over to the right before the snap, and here it comes. And Aikens dropping back, looking to throw. Catch made. And I was saying he was a blocker that shifted over there. He turned out to be the receiver.
Aikens pass complete to Simpson.
Simpson on the reception. It's Tate Simpson with the catch. First time the Broncos gone to the air today.
Yeah, nice catch there by Tate.
Moves the ball inside the 25-yard line. And the Broncos looking to be in really good position here. Aikens in the gut. Running back on each side. Got Simpson set up on that right side. Now he shifts over to the left. Here's the snap, and this time a handoff to Newdecker running to the left side. Tight end in front gets the block, and now
the corner.
Off to the races, and Newdecker tripped up
close.
And brought down just shy of the end zone.
I think they're going to mark him short. I think he thought he had his 4th touchdown of the night, Joe.
Thought he did, and then there was a defender for the Colts who snuck in there, Shine Tisdale, able to get in there, trip him up for the tackle, and keep the Broncos off the board for just a little bit.
We're at 4 minutes and rolling here, Joe. Broncos looking to put an exclamation point on the game with a touchdown here.
Yeah, they can really put it away here with a score on this drive. The amount of time left, and not really been able to see the Colts move the ball with great urgency against this Broncos. The Broncos defense has been very good as well. We've talked about the special teams and how they got that extra possession, and we've talked about Newdecker. But how about this Broncos defense? I mean, only giving up one offensive touchdown in this game. I mean, they've done a very solid job.
Yeah, and as you can see here, the Broncos playing the clock game. They run the play clock all the way down, call the timeout, set up the offense, and come out and try to score the next play.
Again, we've got another game coming up here, the Division II championship, which I believe has the Bengals and the Cowboys, I believe, are the two teams coming up later on tonight. We're going to keep the stream just running through between games, and so you'll be able to come back to it as we get things started. That game's scheduled to go at about 7 o'clock.
And here we go. Looks like we have a police escort up in the top of the hill up there, Joe. I'm thinking one of the D2 teams has arrived.
I can guess which one.
Yeah, there might even be a fire truck up there. I can't tell.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the game here. Here's the snap. And a handoff coming up from the left side up to the right, and Reynolds on the carry.
Reynolds carry for no gain.
No gain on the play.
You know, there they fake the ball to Newdecker, hand off to Reynolds, and you kind of expect the Colts defense is going to swarm him, but they were able to read that and make a good play on Reynolds. But again, Joe, you know, this is a clock situation. You know, if you're the Colts, do you use your timeout here?
You know, they've used one timeout already.
We're at 3 minutes. I would expect to see if the Broncos don't score on this play, the Colts would most likely use a timeout.
Aikens in the gun here. Running back to his right, hands off to Newdecker, running to his left, and he's held up in the backfield.
Sean Tisdale, you called his name earlier, Joe. He got in the backfield and wrapped up Newdecker. Very impressive tackle.
You know, and Tisdale, another popular name amongst Bowling Green people. And, you know, you talk about Vito Tisdale. He's been a big factor for the Purples defense this year, moving to that outside linebacker spot. And, you know, he's second leading tackler for Bowling Green this year.
Yes, sir.
When you talk about Blue Tisdale, who played many years ago for Bowling Green, man, he just looked to lay hits on people. That's all he wanted to do was make contact. Didn't matter if he was offense or defense. He was looking to run over somebody.
And a lot of alumnus of the Warren County Youth Football League.
Yeah.
Looks like the Colts elect not to take the timeout, and they're going to ride this thing out.
Now timeout taken by the Broncos.
Down to 2 minutes. 2 minutes left in the game. You know, they've been able to push the Broncos back a few yards, which helps. You know, and it's 1st and goal on the foot line. That's a tough proposition. They've given themselves some room to play with, but they're going to need 2 stops here, and they need them quick.
Yeah, needing stops and then needing to score quick as well. I mean, it's a 2-score game no matter how you slice it. And to get those in 2 minutes, it's going to be tough to do. Unless they're able to break off a big run like Newdecker was able to on the first drive of the game for the Broncos, taking it from about 40 yards out in for the first score of the game. Aikens in at quarterback here. Line up there. Kind of looks to be just in front of the official if you're looking on the screen. Here's a snap. Handoff to Newdecker. Running over to left-hand side. Has a crease. Diving forward. And he's short.
Newdecker up the middle.
Soon you'll see a timeout here by the Colts.
Bring a 4th down and goal.
Colts going to use the timeout. Makes it 4th and goal.
Yeah, Broncos in a really good spot here, Joe. I mean, if you're able to punch it in, it pretty much seals the game.
Yep.
If not, barring some type of turnover with a return for a score, you know, you're going to have the Colts backed up with very little time to play with as we're at 1:55.
Newdecker in this game. 3 touchdowns already. Almost had his 4th on this drive on a couple of occasions. Tisdale tackling him on the big run that set up this goal line situation, and then on that play, brought down again. Let's see what the Broncos draw up here.
You can hear the Broncos fans in the stands. They're starting to feel it, trying to get behind this team, see if they can push them across one more time. Want to make a bet on who's going to carry it here, Joe?
I imagine you're looking towards Newdecker. Here's the snap, but there you go.
Keeper Aikens. Hanson's there.
But the Colts get the stop.
When they keep them out, that'll stop the clock at 1:52. Big stand by the defense there.
Yeah, it is a huge stand. It's defensive coordinator getting pumped for the Colts.
Yeah, Coach Crow. Let's give him a little love here. Jamari Anderson, Isaac Reed, Noah Miller, DJ Austin, Trey Mack, McCarthan, Elijah Clendenin, Rowan Hanson, Ziggy Carruthers, Sean Tisdale. We heard Sean a few times on that drive. Michael Crow and Halo Sisson. It was a real bend don't break scenario there, but again, you know, you're down 24-14 with 1:52 to play, so still a pretty big uphill climb here. Let's see what they can do to make it interesting.
You know, the Broncos didn't score, but they did take about 5 minutes off the clock with that drive.
Yeah, that TOP the second half for the Broncos has been.
That's almost as good as getting the score when you're in the situation that the Broncos are in. I mean, they've had 11 minutes of this second half just on 2 drives. Here's the snap. Colts running it over on the right-hand side. Minimal gain on the play. No gain on the run by Martin. I think you're starting looking, you know, if you've got the passing plays in your arsenal, maybe you start looking for those here at this point, Brandon.
Well, and the hard thing, too, at this age, you know, there's, you know, it's hard to run a 2-minute offense at any age.
Yes, it is.
But 8, 9, and 10, it's hard to get into a 2-minute O. Got a trips formation. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pass over here to the side, see if they can get the sideline.
Here comes a snap and handoff to Ziggy Carruthers.
Corner kept contained. Let's see what Ziggy can do here.
Breaking off a run and gets out of bounds after picking up the first down. It's a nice gain for Ziggy Carruthers, and again moving the chains.
So the safety Ferris there makes a big play. You know, we were talking about him earlier. They were playing him deep on that 4th down on the previous Colts drive, and he comes up. I'm telling you, the corner kept contained. He came in and was able to force Carruthers out of bounds. That's a good play, even though it's a 20-yard gain. If you don't do that, he's gone.
You know, the Broncos right now have a little bit of cushion, so, you know, if you make that stop at that spot, it's still good for the defense because
there goes Sisson.
Got the cushion. Sisson moving up the right side.
Nice tackle. Who is that?
Tackle.
Newdecker.
Newdecker on the play.
You know, I don't know that we get a vote. They will recognize an MVP of the Toy Bowl.
Oh, okay.
But I have a feeling of who's going to be in
I think we got a good guess.
Yeah. And it is by no means, you know, that offensive line has been huge for them tonight.
I mean, Aikens has made some good plays on offense as well.
Yes.
I mean, he's ran the offense
and really leading the offense.
Yep.
You know, I mean, they've been efficient. We haven't seen very many penalties, no turnovers.
Getting towards the closing moments of this game, at a timeout taken here on the field. 3rd down going to be coming up.
Coach is still coaching out there, aren't they, Joe?
Yeah, they are. trying to keep both teams in it here. Imagine having to keep the attention of 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
I've actually been there and done that.
On a cold night. I don't know if I'm able to do it myself, to be honest with you. But these coaches, they put a lot of time and energy into these young kids, and we certainly appreciate all the effort that they put in on both sides and for all the teams, even the ones that don't make it here. I mean, just the work that they put in to coach and to bring along these young men. it's a great thing to see.
We'll be at 33 seconds here when the clock starts.
Third down here for the Colts. Again, trailing by 10. Here's the snap, and Anderson going to drop back, looking to throw. Now takes off running to the right side and gets maybe a couple yards there.
23 seconds. He might have had Carruthers for a second, but it's hard to throw when you're when you're avoiding the rush.
Yeah, and Caden Newdecker again on the tackle for the Broncos. Fourth down here.
So probably be the last play here.
Crowd counting off the final seconds. Here's the snap. This will be the final play. Heave up in the air. Deep throw incomplete. And that will do it. The Broncos win the Toy Bowl. The Division I champs. Final score 24-14.
And the Broncos, they really played a complete game, Joe.
Yeah, they certainly
Hats
did.
off to them, and hats off to the Colts on a tremendous season as well. Certainly nothing to hold their heads down about.
Colts a great year. Again, 9-2 as they finished the season. Their only losses came against this Bronco team. But how about the Broncos? They dropped the first game of the season and then run off 10 straight to claim the championship. And they'll shake hands here. There will be a trophy ceremony. And, we've already talked about who we think the player of the game is going to be, and that's probably going to be Caden Newdecker. Had some big tackles there on that final drive and also had 3 touchdowns on the day for the Broncos. They shake hands. We're going to have the trophy presentation.
And then the trophies, and then the MVP in that order. Okay, so I'll announce Colts, Broncos.
So let's give kind of another shout out here to all the players.
I'll say their names, then they get their trophies. If we could have the players line up on the 40-yard line, please. We're going to do the trophy presentation.
So here, members of the Colts, you got Halo Sisson, Justin Logan, Kason Edison, Thatcher Stroh, Ethan Miller, Bryce Beckwith, Caden Greer, Rowan Hansen, Zeke Carruthers, Elijah Clendenin, Jay Anderson, Liam Manley, Shine Tisdale, Trey McCatherine, Isaac Reed, DJ Austin, Jaden Anderson,
the 40-yard line for the trophy presentation, please.
Trey McCatherine,
On the 40s.
Demontre Martin, Noah Miller.
We want to introduce the players for each team and congratulate them on a great season.
William Rigsby.
Then we'll present the team trophies and the Toy
M.
Bowl
Crow.
MVP.
And Ben Coombs. Those are some of the players for you. For the Colts, for the Broncos,
When
you've
we
got
call
Hudson
your name,
Akins, Hayden Garrett, Finn Jennings, Lane Sigler,
please
Gaddy
meet
Beard,
Miss
Keith
Kim
Leggett,
midfield.
Alex
She's
Botkin,
raising her
Caden
hand. We're gonna
Newdecker,
start
Carter Clemens,
with the
Kane Wright, Zach
2019
Stumbo,
Colts,
Tylen Taylor,
who are the WCYFL Division
Jet
I
Reynolds,
runner-up. Number 4, Zeke
Kaiden
Carruthers.
Newdecker, Tate Simpson,
Number 7, Sean Tisdale.
Lidavon
Number
Yates,
8, Halo Sisson.
Parks Reynolds, Cash Ferris.
Number 10, Ben Coombs. Number 11, Jamari
And congratulations to both of these teams
Number
making this
12,
far. Coming into this
Jaden
game again, 9-1. Both teams
Number
on the year. They played a
Jason
tight game
Edison.
back in the regular season with the Broncos winning that one
Number
14-12.
17,
This
Cam
time
Lewis.
it was kind of set up from the
Number
get-go
18, Dekion Austin.
with the Broncos kicking off to start off the
Number
game. They
19,
go with the
Caden
onside kick and collect it. And then
Number
2 plays
20,
later,
William
Caden
Rigsby.
Newdecker was running it into the end zone. The extra point
Number
goes up and
24,
in, so they
Noah
got
Miller.
2 off the kick, making it 8-0. The
Number
Colts
27,
drove down the field but
Justin
did not
Logan.
score. But on the next defensive stance, forced the Broncos to punt. On
Number
the punt
30,
return,
Caden
it's taken
Greer.
in for the score.
Number 31.
Colts went for one. It was 8-7 at that point. Broncos were able to get another touchdown in the second quarter. Again, Caden Newdecker running it in for the score. The kick went up and in to make it 16-7. Colts drove late in the second quarter, but were not able to score. And so it made it basically a two-score game heading into the second half. The Broncos got the first possession and drove about 6 minutes off the clock. And then punched it in for the touchdown. Got the 2 points on the kick, making it 24-7. Colts were able to get one more touchdown. They got the extra point as well to make it 24-14. But were not able to get enough possessions here in the second half. The Broncos take the lead early. Then they run the clock down very well, especially there in the second half. 2 possessions took 11 minutes off of the clock. And when you've got a 3-possession lead and you take 11 minutes out of the 16 of the game with 2 possessions, you put yourself in a good spot to get the win, and that's what the Broncos do here today.
2019 Division I Toy Bowl champions, the Broncos.
Again, the teams being announced right now. The Colts getting their consolation. The Broncos being
Number 12,
announced now.
Cash Ferris. Number 14, Kane Wright. Number 15, Carter Clemens. Number 17, Alex Botkin. Number 18, Kaiden Newdecker.
Caden Wright. Oh, I did say his name earlier. I'm trying to read the spot sheets that I was given for the rosters. I believe I got everybody named as I went through the rosters here earlier. Again, if you stay with us, we've got another game coming up here. The Bengals and the Cowboys, I believe, meeting for the Division II championship. Of course, we'll step aside for a little bit between games. The next game was scheduled to start at around 7 o'clock, so we got about 30 minutes from now before that game gets underway.
Ben Jennings. Number 46, Caden Newdecker.
Again, we're staying here through the trophy presentation and the naming of the MVP. And we've got the good guess on who it's going to be. Caden Newdecker, again, 3 touchdowns and a handful of tackles in this game.
Number 88, Tate Simpson. And number 92, Guy Pretty. And now we would like to present the 2019 Division I Championship Trophy to the Broncos.
There you go, the Broncos getting the trophy, handing it off to the coach here. Congratulations again to the Broncos, your Division I champions.
And now we would like to recognize our 2019
Let's name our
Youth Football League Division I
Toy Bowl MVP.
Caden Newdecker.
And it's Caden Newdecker. So congratulations to Caden Newdecker. A great game for him. And again, a championship. So again, congratulations to the Broncos. Final score 24-14. I want to thank you guys for joining us for the first game. We've got one more on the way. It will feature the Bengals and the Cowboys. It's coming up at about 7 o'clock here on stfanclub.com. But we'll be right back after a little break.
Please make sure that you line up behind
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the pit here at Bowling Green Junior High School. Joe Brunk here with you live on stfanclub.com, and we are bringing you game number 2 of the Toy Bowl. The Division II championship game will feature the Bengals and the Cowboys. The Bengals coming into this game 10-0 on the regular season. The Cowboys 5-5 in the regular season, but they had that 3 seed, picked up a big win over the 49ers in a tight contest, and find themselves here in the championship game. The Bengals reached the championship by beating the Chargers in the semifinal. The Bengals actually got a bye in the first round because of their top seed, 10-0 on the year. The Bengals have been pretty good and have been pretty dominant against the Cowboys. We'll see if the Cowboys squad has made through the playoffs, able to turn the tide a little bit. They played twice in the regular season. The Bengals beating the Cowboys 38-0 the first time they met, and then beat them 14-0 the second time. So a little tighter contest the second time that they met. They were scheduled to play a third time, but did not play. It looked like probably weather canceled all the games on that day, so they didn't get to play then. So here we go. Brandon Phillips joining
Joe,
me.
it's great to be here.
There we go.
It feels like forever since we were last together.
It certainly does.
Broadcasting a Toy Bowl.
Uh-huh.
And tonight, the Bengals, of course, they returned this year, runner-up in last year's Toy Bowl, but a new face this year on the other side of the equation here, and the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys winning a tight contest against the 49ers.
Oh, came to the very, from what I have been told, and I was not at that game, the game ended with the Cowboys on defense and a play I think that goes as time expires, ends at the 1-yard line.
Oh, my goodness.
Going in to preserve the victory and make it to the Toy Bowl. So it doesn't get much closer than that.
Does not get close to that. Almost like the Titans in their one Super Bowl appearance is coming up just a couple yards shy.
Right, and Titans and Super Bowl is not something we normally think of together. So
they haven't been back since. So, but here we are again, another Toy Bowl game for you. This time the Division II championship. It looks like it's the Cowboys to receive.
Now, and remember what we saw in the first game tonight in the Division I Toy Bowl, Joe. The Broncos set the tone early with the onside kick. So let's see what the Bengals do here. Are they going to try some trickeration, or are they going to kick it away?
Let's see how many times I say the Broncos in this game
instead of the Bengals.
Yep, it's the Bengals to kick off here. And here comes the kick. It is a good little kickoff, bouncing in the middle here. And here comes the return, coming up the middle, getting past the 35 before being brought down at about the 36-yard line. 37, I believe, is where they've set that down.
I believe that was Andrew Jones with the kickoff.
So no trickeration on that kickoff, getting the clean start here.
Offensively for the Cowboys, we're going to see Nathan Freeman at quarterback, Kyle Sledge and Andrew Barbalos at running backs, and Ontarius Scott. They have an extra running back in there, Joe. Should have read that ahead, right?
Fullback and 2 running backs.
That's right. Tavian Curtis, wide receiver, Atlas Pinson at tight end, Berto Mong at center, Ashton Phillips left guard, Hayden McDavitt left tackle, DeMontre Barrett right guard, and Aiden Barisa at right tackle.
Here comes the snap, running over towards the right side, trying to move forward, getting about a yard or two up to the 39-yard line.
Barbalos on the run for the Cowboys for a 1-yard gain.
And, Joe, I would tell you, much like what we saw the Broncos do in the game before, the Cowboys' MO offensively is ball control. 3 yards, a cloud of dust, keep your defense on the field, keep your offense off the field, and win close games.
Well, they have got some size on that offensive line. You look at them break the huddle.
Sir.
They have the advantage there in the trenches when it comes to size.
And I'm sure Nathan Freeman appreciates the efforts.
Comes the size, moving the ball up on the right-hand side this time. Getting a few yards on that carry. Brings up a third down situation.
Carry for a gain of 3.
It's like Easton Hancock.
Third down for the Cowboys.
I think Hancock on the tackle there.
Hancock on the tackle for
So
the Bengals.
defensively, first quarter, we're going to see Christian Malone for the Bengals, Nicholas Reed, Chris Coron, and Bo Bryan on the D-line, Logan Johnson and Montrevion Graham at D ends, Brady Delt, Jackson Smith at linebacker, Easton Hancock, Cooper Kroom at DB, and Embry Dotson at safety.
There you go, your starting lineups here in the first quarter.
Brought to you by just me.
Yeah, brought to you by Brandon Phillips.
By Toy Bowl Concessions.
By the concession stand.
Stop by and get a burger.
Yeah. Burke pretty good. I got one in
Telling you,
between
bro.
games. It's not too shabby.
I'm
Pitch over to
telling
the
you, bro.
right-hand
Oh,
side.
that's a great defensive
and a
effort
great
right there.
tackle in the
For a
backfield.
loss of 2.
Brings up 4th down. What a stop there
Tell who that was.
by this Bengal defense.
I think that was Montravian Graham,
And that's going to
number
bring
23.
That's going to bring up the punt squad. And
For the
Brandon, I
Bengals.
mentioned this right before we started the game. The
Bring up 4th down
Bengals
for
kept the Cowboys out of the end zone in both of their meetings in
That's
the regular
right.
season. A 38-0 victory and a 14-0 victory. So
And you got Jeremiah McCombs and Jackson Smith. And I tell you, Joe, these are two guys, much like what we saw in the first game, that if they get it and they get a crease, they can take it to the house.
here's the snap.
Cowboys will have to stay in their lanes here.
Hunter getting plenty of time, and the kick.
A nice high
It's
kick.
a high punt.
That's trouble.
Here comes the catch.
Wow,
and a
Smith with the
smack
block.
on that to return.
Goodness.
What a block, and you hear the helmets on that one. You probably heard it from home.
For a gain of 4.
Embry Dotson with the return,
Brings
and
up first down
Jackson
for the
Smith really setting the tone early with that block. And I can tell you, Joe, I've had the chance to coach a lot of these kids that we've seen tonight. Jackson Smith's one of those, and he was doing that at 6 years old. So I haven't seen him play much this year, but that is not a surprise.
So the Bengals force a 3 and out on the first drive of the game, and now their offense takes the field for the first time. Let's get to their starters here in just a bit. It's 1st and 8. Ball set up on the 48. Here's a snap.
Dotson at quarterback. That's Smith.
Comes a run up the right side. Gets it back to the line of scrimmage, but not much after that. No gain on the play.
Bengals offense brought to you by
Brings up
Toy Bowl
2nd
Concessions.
down.
Embry Dotson at quarterback, Jackson Smith and Jeremiah McCombs at running back, Jalen Bailey, Nolan Love, wide receivers, Jamarion Rice, Kane Crabtree, Drew Pierce at center. Those were linemen before that.
Yeah.
Caleb Ray, Samuel Garcia round out the left side of the offensive line. Lucas Jenkins, we're going to see him at wide receiver, at running back, and a few other positions as well tonight.
2nd down. May have given him a yard on that last play.
Bengals
Here's the
shifting
snap.
around.
Rolling over to the left side. Going to be a quarterback keeper on the run. Has some yards to gain. Gets that first down marker before he's brought down.
For a gain of 8. Tackled by a host of Cowboys. Brings up 1st down for the Bengals.
Good pursuit there by the Cowboys, but McCombs was able to get the edge and get the first down. You know, and I'm not sure if that was by design or just how it worked out, but the Bengals lined up in one formation, shifted into a completely different formation, moving the strength to the left side, and here they are with a bunch formation now to the right.
Dawson in the gun takes a snap, handoff, and a run over to the right side between the tackles, breaking through. Shook one tackle, but not the next as it goes down.
Nice tackle by the Cowboys there.
For a gain of 6.
The Bengals, they're just pressing the issue up the middle.
Tonight on defense for the Cowboys, we're going to see Weston Akins, Nathan Freeman, Logan Boyer, Levi Faulkner, Andrew Barbalas, Clay Steff, Cash Carter, Atlas Pinson, Kyle Sledge, Jude Hall, and Bradley Martin.
The 2nd down here with the ball set up on the 34-yard line. Runner going in motion before the snap, and here it comes. Going to be a run
Smith,
to
direct
the
snap.
right side, and the
That's a
Cowboys
great-
eat it up
Yes.
immediately. Loss of yards on the play.
1. Tackled
Cash
by-
Carter. Cash Carter there with a great play for the Cowboys. A couple guys came in to help clean that up, Joe, but Cash had tremendous penetration, made the initial stick, and now they've got the Bengals 3rd and 5.
3rd down. Bunch receivers on the right-hand side. Here's the snap. They fake the handoff. The quarterback going to keep him himself, running up the right side. And
He's still going.
He's still going.
Oh, he's going to go.
Thought it was going to be close, but he just breaks through the pack, and he takes it all the way in.
Bengals.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Dotson on the 35.
What the run there
yard
by
for the
Dotson.
Bengals.
Quarterback on the keeper takes it all the way.
What are we talking about here? Was he in?
Actually, they're going to bring this one back.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
Push in the back.
Block in the back.
I'm not sure where the block in the back was, but Embry Dotson doing his best Harry Houdini impression,
Yeah.
going into a pile, disappearing, and showing up in the end zone.
Yeah, I was behind on the camera, too. I don't know if I caught him getting into the end zone, but that one coming back, it wasn't at the beginning of the run. It was kind of where that scrum kind of took place, and we thought he might have been pushed out of bounds before he broke free. And so here we go with the ball set up inside the 25-yard line. Here's a snap, and Dotson
Oh,
gonna
nice stick.
keep it again, running up the middle.
Big hit there by number 71 for the Cowboys.
Dotson on the keeper
Atlas
for a gain of
Pinson.
4. Tackle by Pinson for the Cowboys brings up second
Dotson
down
with a
for
really
the
good
Bengals.
run. It was kind of the same play, just going to the other side. But that's the thing, Joe, and you're going to see in Division II, physically these guys, obviously, they're older, they're bigger. You're going to see bigger hits, bigger plays.
Fake the handoff. Dotson going on the run again, moving over to the right side. Gets the edge and now running down the sideline.
Touchdown, Bengals.
And he is, nope, pushed out of bounds at the 1.
Correction out at the 1.
First and goal for the Bengals. Get that back on the
And there is the
offense here.
it's kind of like the clown car formation. Everybody starts running around, and then they get set. And
Here's snap handoff up the middle. Cowboys able to clog the run up the middle. No gain on the run.
No gain. Brings up second down for the Bengals.
Brings up second and goal. The Bengals making that run to the championship game last year. Now have gone undefeated here this season. Looking to get the first points on the board here late in the first quarter of this championship game. And now we got some movement before the ball gets snapped.
well, I could see the O-line coach for the Bengals, Chris Coron, kind of out of the side. As soon as they jumped, you could tell he saw it too.
And as you mentioned, Brandon, a little different from the Division I. The coach is not out there on the field.
That's a good
the
observation,
players,
Joe, yes.
It's just the players and the refs out there on the field, Brandon. Second down again. A little more breathing room for this Cowboys defense. The goal is the line to gain for the Bengals. And here's the snap. And they'll hand it off. Look for the run up the right side. Has some room to run to. Gets to the outside. Did he spin in?
And
He's in. Touchdown, Bengals.
McCombs on the carry for the Bengals for a 6-yard touchdown.
That was Jeremiah McCombs on the touchdown carry. And the Bengals will go for the kick here.
Here comes those extra points again, as we said, Joe.
Again, it's the same in this division as well. 2 points for the kick, 1 point for the offense, right?
That's correct.
All right.
And these can loom large.
Here comes the kick, and it's straight
Blocked.
to the Cowboy line, blocked. So that makes the score Bengals 6 and the Cowboys nothing.
Cowboys 0.
So nice drive for the Bengals and a good start for the Orange squad out there on the field. Again, the defense forcing the 3 and out. The offense drives down the field and punches it in for 6. And the Cowboys, we'll see how they respond here. And the Cowboys yet to score against this Bengals squad this season. They played 2 games in the regular season. And here comes the kick. Clean kick, and here comes a chance for the return for the Cowboys. Hits up the middle, and the return up to about the 40-yard line.
Scott's return for a gain of 7. Tackled by a host of Bengals. Makes it first down for the Cowboys.
Zooming in a little bit here. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us here on stfanclub.com or joining us on the Sporting Times YouTube channel. Joe Brunk, Brandon Phillips here with you.
Got my social media score updates in, Joe.
There you go.
I'm back. I'm here, and I'm listening. I'm just working on that.
I mean, we're both kind of multitasking as we go throughout the
Joe's
evening
on
here.
camera and play-by-play.
Yeah, running back, updating the scoreboard on
That's
the
right.
stream.
Driving the bus, cooking dinner.
Moving all over the place. The Cowboys looking to move the ball here, and they run it right up the middle. Big gain
Out of
as they get
crease.
across the 50. Nice spin move through that line and able to move it up close to the first down marker.
Barbless on the carry for a gain of 8.
Andrew Barbless, he found a crease, and he was through there. And it looked like it was going to be about a 3 or 4 yard game before you know it. He's out past the chains. And it's first down Cowboys, and they're going hurry up.
There you go. Looking to move the ball again. Again, a hand up the middle. And maybe they've found something with a hole up that middle. Again, I like what they bring as far as size with that offensive line. They should be able to open up some lanes for the running backs.
That's right. Oh, and I was talking to both teams on the field before the game, and when I was speaking with Bengals assistant coach Marlon Jones, and his son Andrew obviously handled the kickoff duties. He said Mom Sarah is watching in Florida tonight and wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to Miss Sarah Jones. So
there you go.
If you're listening to this broadcast or watching this broadcast online and you need us to give a shout out to anyone, send them in. We'll do them here in between some of the plays.
Exactly. Nice run up to the 40-yard line on the Bengals side of the field. It's still here in the first quarter. Bengals.
34 seconds left here, Joe.
Bengals leading 6-0. Each have had an opening possession. The Cowboys were forced on a 3-and-out on their first possession, but seem to be moving the ball pretty well here. It just runs up the middle this time.
They've seemed to find something here. You know, they went tempo for a little bit, which again, as we understand, Cowboys are a real ball control team. So in terms of the plays that they're running, it's what you would expect, but the tempo is a different thing, and they probably, will throw some things at the Bengals tonight that they haven't seen during the regular season.
You always want to have something in that back
That's
pocket
right.
for the chance. If you're going to meet them in the playoffs, have a little,
save a few of
little
those
something
plays
to bring out. Cowboys breaking from the huddle after this timeout. 3rd down. Few yards to go here. Of course, I'd say you're probably in 2-down territory at this point if you're the Cowboys. Here's the snap, and the ball is loose. It's a fumble on the snap.
Not sure what happened there.
This
ball, the Bengals seem to think they have it, but the officials are saying 4th down.
For a loss of 1. Brings up 4th down.
And as you said, Joe, I think at this point, you're on the Bengals side here. You got a 4th and about maybe a long 2 or 3, and they're not even going to discuss it. They're going for it.
Yep, offense stays out there.
I think Barbalas up the middle here. The Bengals think so.
Here's a snap and a handoff, and it is just clogged up the middle. Look to run to the outside.
He's not going to get outside.
Chase down there. Again, Barbalas just had nowhere to go. Great surge by the Bengals defense to break through and make the stop.
Yeah, I think you had Logan Johnson and Christopher Coron, which kicked him outside, and then Brady Delk comes in like a missile and makes the tackle.
So shutout continues for the Bengals here. Again, played 2 games against these Cowboys, kept them out of the end zone both of those games, and continues 2 drives in, and that is the end of the first quarter with the Bengals leading the Cowboys 6-0 here in the Division II Toy Bowl
That's right, and
Championship.
so now we'll start to see some substitutions here. Of course, in Warren County Youth Football League, every player has the opportunity to participate. Each quarter, you'll see substitutions both offensively and defensively. We're going to try to cover as many of those as we can.
Absolutely.
It's not uncommon. Now, not that they would never get on the field, but as we saw in the last game, sometimes if the offense holds the ball, with these 8-minute quarters, you might be in a scenario where your offense or defense doesn't get on very long, but the Bengals have come back with their second quarter offense here. Embry Dotson at quarterback, McCombs and Montrevion Graham at running back, Brady Delk at receiver, Logan Johnson at receiver. O-line looks like Brooks Knuckles, Eli Powell, Drew Pierce still at center, Deontay Shannon, Samuel Garcia, and Jackson Booth at receiver.
It's the Bengals offense out there on the field after a 4th down stand. They're taking over on their own 49-yard line. Dotson in the gun. Has a couple receivers to the right, one on the left, and here's some flags.
Flag on the play.
False start against the Bengals.
We'll take this opportunity to talk about second quarter defense for the Cowboys. Weston Akins, Ontarius Scott, Nathan Freeman make up the secondary. Linebackers Brandon Venata and Andrew Barbalas, Levi Faulkner. At DNs, you're going to have Atlas Pinson, who had a big play in the first quarter, as well as Cash Carter. And then Kyle Sledge at nose, Carter Boyd, and Reese Davidson round out the defensive line.
Here comes a snap and a run up the left side, and
There's
a
a
fumble
fumble.
loose on the ground.
And the Cowboys seem to think they have it, and they do.
Yeah, they do. That is a big stop for the Cowboys. Big play there.
Cowboys recover. Bring up 1st down for the Cowboys.
That's a big play.
Is indeed. Keeps it a 1-score contest, and the Cowboys with the ball back here.
And I'm trying to think back, Joe. I don't think we had a turnover other than the onside kick in the first game.
We did not. There were no turnovers. There were not a lot of penalties either in that contest.
No.
We had a block in the back, and we had a couple of delay of games, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah, Graham looking to turn it up. And not sure what happened, but the ball falls out, and the Cowboys are back in business.
Here comes a snap, run up the middle again, and just packing the defender with him up to the 50. And actually, let's say the ball got loose again.
Beanbags on the ground again. See who's got it.
And it stays with the Cowboys.
Yeah, Graham made the tackle there. I'm sure he's trying to make amends for that last play, and he was in there defensively.
You hear one of the coaches for the Cowboys yelling out there, "Fight for it, fight for it." Even the whistle may have blown, but you got to keep on fighting for that ball until they call something.
Weston Akins, Trey Offit, Ontarius Scott, Braden Lightfoot at running back for the Cowboys, Ethan Freiberg, Reese Davidson, Berto Mongo. You know, let me check my sheet here. I think I've got that. We'll come back to that name. I want to make sure I'm getting that young man's name right. Nathaniel Cherry, Bradley Martin, C.J. Gartner, and Jude Hall.
Berto Mong, maybe?
Mong, yeah. I think Mong is right. Good
Second down here, and we got a flag before we get going.
Flag on the play.
Ball set up right on the 50-yard line. The official's going to talk this over. A little commotion on the line. See who moved first. False start, Cowboys.
False start on the Cowboys.
We'll move that back. A couple of the Cowboys players kind of looking up and kind of looking at what happened? I don't know what happened.
Well, I think you could say this for any offense, but particularly for the Cowboys, you really have to, and say Captain Obvious, right? But you have to avoid penalties, right? You cannot get behind the chains. You want to be able to control the game on the ground, control the clock, and when you go from 2nd and 5 to 2nd and 11, it changes the whole dynamic.
In the second quarter here, Cowboys trailing 6-0, but they got the ball right now, trying to run it up the middle, and, man, there's just no room to run against that Bengals defensive line.
Tackled by a host of Bengals.
Samuel Garcia, Grayson Rogers, Mason Dew, Bo Bryant, Logan Johnson, and Montravion Graham make up that defensive line for the Bengals, and they are not giving much right now.
Yeah, there is a Cowboy player down on the ground at the moment. They're going to
that's Berto.
Have the coaches come and take a look at him. Seem to be at the bottom of that scrum at the end of that run. And you see that they've stayed pretty much on the ground. Both teams have kept their offenses on the ground here in the early going of this game. And looks like we're going to get an extended break here. And as we do so, I'll give a little self-publicity. I'm going to pan away.
Here we go.
A little self-publicity for the Sporting Times. Of course, we have our live sports coverage of high school athletics throughout the season. Football playoffs going on right now. We're going to have Bowling Green South Warren next Friday night at Bowling Green. Should be a great game.
I hear that's a spirited contest when they get together.
It certainly is. They do not like each other at all. But Mong is back up.
That's a direct way to say it.
Yeah, Mong is back up. He's walking off the field on his own power, which is good to see. He's okay. And we'll get back to the action here, but we'll have that game for you. And, of course, we also have the Take 5 podcast, which happens every week. Usually comes out on Mondays or Tuesdays. Doug Thompson and myself kind of look at the games that were, look forward to the games that will be coming, and it's a whole bunch of nonsense. You know Doug personally.
I think it's great, yeah.
You've had plenty of shows with Doug Thompson and know just how off topic he can get.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He provides wonderful insight, great feedback and analysis, and then even sometimes just – real-world conversation. But you really never know where you'll end up.
Did you hear the last pod? We didn't have one this past week. Just scheduling didn't work out for us. But the last podcast we did, Doug Thompson opened it up by asking me, what does 63 cents mean to you? I had no way to answer that question. I didn't know. He went on to give a big, long story. You'll have to check it out. You can catch it on the Apple Podcast app, or you can find it on SoundCloud as well. And it's a false start. Actually, just a jump by the Bengals defense there, so we'll move the ball up 5. Moved it back 5 on a false start. Move it back 5 more. Yeah. Move it up 5 for the Bengals moving offside, and we'll get this going with a third down play up on the 50-yard line.
Well, we talked about the Cowboys putting themselves in a hole in that penalty, but the Bengals give it back, and now they're back in a good position with the toss here.
Cowboys with the run to the outside, moving up the right. Gets across the 45 before he runs out of bounds on the Bengals side of the field. We'll see where the official marks this one. It's very close, and they're going to say, yep, he got it. First down, Cowboys.
Nice run by Ontarius Scott. I think that's the first time we've seen the toss play tonight. Everything has pretty much been up the middle with handoffs. Now they're trying to get the edge, mixing it up.
Trying to keep that Bengals defense off balance. They fed the middle and found some success, and the Bengals were committing to that middle of the run. They got to the outside and picked up a first down. First down, ball on the 44-yard line. And there's some movement here. Looks like the Bengals may have jumped a little bit.
You know, Freeman is really mixing up his snap count, and it's effective. And, you know, two things come from that. Number one, which we've seen on this drive, that's the second offsides penalty on the Bengals, which puts the Cowboys in a really good position now at 1st and 4. But in addition to that, it slows down that rush.
Yeah.
You know, and so it keeps those guys from firing off the ball when you get them with a few of the offsides penalties on the hard count.
First and short here after the penalty and a run up the right tackle. Maybe gained about a yard there, moving up to the 39-yard line.
For a gain of 1. Brings up 2nd down for the Cowboys.
Cowboys breaking from the huddle here. Still in the second quarter, 6-0 your score. Bengals with the lead. Cowboys in Bengal territory.
5:20 to play here in the first half.
On the 38-yard line. Here's a snap, pitch, run over to the left-hand side. Trying to get that outside edge, but he's met in the backfield and brought down. Great commitment by the defensive player. He was able to get a hold of him and just cling for dear life and made sure he didn't get away.
And I think that was Brady Delk who's over there making the initial play.
Brings up 3rd down for the Cowboys.
Brings up a 3rd down.
You know, they ran the toss again. This time Delk was able to kind of run it down and hang on. A couple of his buddies came over there and closed it out. Brings up a big 3rd down for the Cowboys.
Akins trying to get this offense set here. Going to run out of time here.
Yeah, they're using the clock. So, we talked about this was a team that wanted to eat clock and run the ball. Then they went tempo on us, and now they're back to controlling the clock, possessing the ball.
Akins under center, takes a snap, handoff up the middle, and the Bengals.
Oh, he bust out,
Joe.
Joe.
He broke through it. The Bengals defense bit on it much like I did, and they're able to break to the outside and pick up some yards on the play.
6.
Yeah, Ontario Scott with a really nice run. You know, it looked like he was going to get the edge, and he saw Delk coming. And I'm not sure. I think he tried to cut back or thought he might be able to get Delk to over-pursue. Delk was able to hold on and make the tackle. But that's a big run, and we're back at another 4th down here.
Yeah, 4th down. You know the Cowboys are going to go for it here in Bengal territory, set up on the 35-yard line. They need 1 yard here.
Hey,
Keep this drive alive.
You think you'll get the hard count here, Joe?
I mean, they've been able to get it a couple times already.
There it is.
There's the snap, pitch back, and here comes the run again.
Nice run.
Up the right tackle
it's
that time.
It's close, Joe.
It is very close.
They're going to have to measure this.
Yeah,
I don't think they can tell. You can see the official back on the other sideline next to the chains telling them to hang on.
He's set up next
to it.
it. Yep,
hey! Buy your boy a hot chocolate here.
First time we've had the chains pulled out for a measurement here. And as they do so, again, a little more self-promotion. Why not? Another way to get in with the Sporting Times.
I love your self-promo, Joe.
Sporting Time Show, WNKY NBC 40, every Saturday night from 6 to 6:30. Again, Doug Thompson, myself, we have a whole lot of fun. We bring in some guests this week. Tonight we had some members of the Greenwood volleyball team.
Excellent.
Came by the studio and talked to them before they made their run up in Louisville for the state tournament.
I'm telling you, the girls' athletics at Greenwood.
Yeah.
They're in a good spot.
And it's short.
Wow. It was close. You know, if I was betting on that, Joe, which I don't condone sports betting, particularly on 11 and 12-year-olds.
Like not on a toy ball.
But if I was betting, I would have thought they had it. I'm really surprised. It was close. I mean, you could tell when this referee down here walked it off, and you're trying to look across the field at the chain, you think, oh, awful close. So big stop by the Bengals defense. And again, you know, that defensive line for the Bengals here in the second quarter, Garcia, Rogers, Dew, Bryant, Johnson, Graham, just able to get some penetration and hold them out.
On the a couple of Bowling Green purple football players burning the chains.
Yeah,
and
see that over there.
Thompson, one of the defensive linemen.
I think that's becoming a tradition. Last year the Toy Bowl was at Greenwood, and the Greenwood football players held the chains.
So the Bengals take over again.
Coron running onto the field here.
Big stop by the Bengals defense once again. We'll see if the offense can get some more points up on the board. Three receivers over on the right-hand side. The quarterback going to take it and run with it, and he's got some room to run. Gets near that first down marker on the carry.
For a gain of 8.
Second quarter offense now in for the Bengals. Emory Dotson, Jeremiah McCombs, Montravion Graham, Brady Delk, Logan Johnson, Brooks Knuckles, Eli Powell, Drew Pierce, Viontae Shannon, Samuel Garcia, and Jackson
Brings
Booth.
up first down for the
Brooks
Bengals.
Knuckles. That's a good football name.
You like that one, don't
I
you?
like that one a lot. Not spelled like your typical Knuckles, but I still
No.
like it nonetheless.
No.
Still sounds the same when I get to broadcast it, so it sounds good to me. Quarterback in the gun here. Got a receiver to his left, a couple more bunched up on the right, and now he's just going to take off and run.
So either Dotson or Graham. I was a little confused which way that was going, but it's going to work out for him.
Yeah, take off on the run. Again, initially, you're right. There's a little miscommunication as
15.
Dotson kind of held out the ball, waiting for a running back to
that
sweep
Graham was
by,
coming to
and
the right.
then he went, well, no one's coming, so I'll just tuck it and run myself, and he picks up the first down.
Well, I can tell you this. One of the things you'll notice sometimes in youth football, when things don't go right, good things, as weird as it sounds, will come from it, especially if a ball is fumbled or dropped. It's almost like everybody kind of freezes or they're trying to figure out, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you see a guy bust out down the sideline.
First down with the ball set up on the 39-yard line. Here's a snap. Run over to the left-hand side. It's just a straight carry from the snap. Gets across that 35 up to the 30.
Graham on the keeper per game.
You know, much
6.
like the Broncos in the
Second down
first
for the
game,
Bengals.
although the Bengals are showing us a lot of formations, one of the things that they really want to do, as you can tell, is just overload one side with offensive linemen and receivers, get a hat on a hat, and let their running backs find creases or seams and make the plays.
Second down. Gained a few on that last run. Now they've got a whole bunch of receivers set up over on the left-hand side.
Where's this one going, Joe?
You know what? We could see it go right. Don't
Oh,
be
here we go.
surprised.
They're going the
On
other way.
sweep. Flag on the play.
They got a
But
flag.
the play going on anyway. And
Nice run.
big run on the sweep. Jukes to the inside, then to the outside, and he takes it all the way into the house. But
Holmes on
we're going to
the
see
32-yard run.
what exactly is going to happen with this one. There was a penalty that came
Cowboys
out
coach is letting them know.
as that play got started.
I think it's a formation issue.
And it is a false start. So this one coming back, no touchdown for the Bengals on this
Penalty on the
play.
Bengals.
Hey, and I want to recognize you. Watch that play, my man, for the Bengals here. Samuel Garcia.
Yeah.
Check that guy out, man. He looks like a football player, doesn't
Yeah, he does. He certainly does. I was about to mention him. He is a nice big blocker for them
Number
on the
86,
inside.
man.
Yeah.
He looks like one of those throwback guys that would anchor a line that runs the wing tee or the wishbone.
Yeah, I feel like they move him to whatever side they're looking to run to. They moved him over to the right side this time. The receivers bunch up on the right side as well, and they're going to run it to that right side. Another big gain, has the first down before he's knocked out of bounds.
Graham on the keeper for a gain of 8.
You know, and we've seen a couple different versions of, you know, how they want to structure offensively in terms of Embry Dotson obviously plays the quarterback position, but we've seen at least 2 running backs go back into the wild Bengal and take the direct snap as well. And, you know, the one thing that, you know, and the Bengals have done this, and there's a lot of what you'll see at Warren County Youth Football League, and they may skip a year here and there, but there's a lot of generational coaches.
Yeah.
You know, guys who might have coached for a while, they're gone, they come back, they have younger kids. And so these systems kind of become consistent with certain teams.
Yeah.
And one thing the Bengals have always done is move people around and change their formations. And, you know, you talked about the fact that at this level, there's no coach on the field. And so the advantage there is if you can get the kids to do it, which is hard. You know, it's hard enough to get them lined up in one spot and do what they're supposed to do. But if you can line them up in one formation, shift into another formation, move your strength, you know where you're going once the ball is snapped and the defense is trying to adjust. It's a huge advantage at this age, and that's what we're seeing right here is a lot of movement. They did have the one penalty on this drive, but for the most part, it's been highly effective for them.
Yeah, and it was with that movement that it was going to be a huge run one way or the other, but it was that they just couldn't quite get the shift down in place in time before the snap came in, and that's why the touchdown got called back. But you're right. If you can get out there and just cause some confusion for the defense, there's some big gaps to be gained. First down here comes the snap and a handoff to the running back and a run over to the left-hand side. He's got some room to run to the outside, and he's got stepped out of bounds before the pylon.
Delk on the carry for a gain of
Big game, moves it
22.
inside the 5.
brings up first down and goal.
Make it
for the
first
Bengals.
and goal for the Bengals.
You know, and you talk about distributing the ball. You know, I think that's the first carry Delk has had tonight, but we've seen probably 5 or 6 guys for the Bengals carry the ball tonight, which just makes you versatile. You know, it's hard to know who to key on when at any point 4 or 5 different guys could get the ball in your offense.
And as you're rotating guys in and out, again, everybody getting the chance to play in these games. When you've got multiple guys around, well, you can pull out who would be considered a, quote, star player because you've got several guys who can pull that load. Here comes the handoff again, running to the left side, has some blockers in front, and he stood up, brought down outside of the end zone.
We're at 1:22 left here, Joe, in the first half. This half has gone really quick.
Both teams have kept it on the ground. Again, we've seen it be mostly clean. We've seen just a few penalties, but
they had that stretch. They traded penalties for about 2 or 3 minutes. Big thing here for the Bengals and, defensively for the Cowboys is if the Bengals score here, they get the ball in the third quarter.
Here's a snap and the handoff running up the left-hand side.
That O-line did the work there.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Nice, strong run by Graham. He found that hole and he fired in, but that offensive line on the left side really were able to push the Cowboys' defensive line back into the end zone.
That makes it.
It's like Andrew Jones running out here to kick.
12-0 now your score. Extra point pending. Bengals going to kick. Last time he booted it right into the outstretched arms of that Cowboys line. We'll see what happens here.
Yep. So Jones 0 for 1, but looking to get it back here.
And here comes the kick. That one gets high, and it goes up and in.
Jones's kick is good. Makes it 14-0 Bengals.
That makes the score Bengals 14, Cowboys nothing. Late in the second quarter. And that is a big play for the Bengals because I believe it also sets them up. As you mentioned, Brandon, they get the ball to start off the third quarter and kind of setting themselves in the same spot that the Broncos were in at the beginning of the last game. Up 2 score, have the chance to get the ball to start off the third quarter, and they have the ability to run off tons of clock with that running offense.
Yeah, but the thing for the Cowboys is you've got some time on the clock. You've got your timeouts. There's 57 seconds left. So as we talked about earlier, usually you save a few plays when you're going to need them here.
Yeah.
Now, it may still be too early. It's only a 2-score game. But if you have something here that can get you down there and get you a score before the half, you're still in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, the Cowboys can get a score here. Certainly still a game. Bengals bringing on a player here late before we get this play underway. And here comes the kick. Over left-hand side, going to roll out of bounds.
They're trying to do an angle kick there. He had really good contact, kind of got the rotation on the ball you wanted, but a little too close to the sideline and goes out. Good thing for the Cowboys, that runs no clock off. So 57 seconds remain here in the first half.
They're actually going to have them re-kick it here.
Yeah, I did last game.
Yeah, so they're going to move it back some yards, and they're going to re-kick this thing.
So if you're the Cowboys, you like your odds here on the return. They got a couple guys they feel that can put them in a little better field position than they would otherwise with the penalty.
Back to the 35 is where the Bengals will kick this one off. And here comes the kick. This one going to be a squibber rolling down the field. Bounces off the Cowboys, but they're able to pick it up and minimal return on the play. Again, just couldn't pick it up cleanly.
Credit to Scott. That bounced up and hit him right in the face mask. That's kind of no man's land when you've got guys running down full speed, but he was able to recover and get the ball.
So the ball set up on the 41-yard line for the Cowboys, set up on their own side of the field here. Under a minute to go.
53 seconds precisely.
There you go.
My man Jalen Kirk over here on the clock. I look at him and he's like, I got you. Or I could just lean over this window here and check it out.
Yeah, the scoreboard directly underneath us. So we're up here in the scorer's booth, thankfully away from the cold as much as we can be here tonight. Here's a snap and a run to the right side. Had no opening. Tried to bring it back to the left, but still a lot of Bengals in the way there. So loss of yards on the carry.
Yeah, and Scott's shifty. You kind of – I'll be interested to see as this game goes on, kind of like what Emory Dotson did, I think, in the first quarter. You kind of go into a pile and you lose him, and then all of a sudden you see him running down the sideline. He seems like he has those kind of moves. Someone that can really make something out of nothing. And the thing here, if you're the Cowboys, again, you're not in a position where you can grind the clock. You're trying to get points before half. So they're going to have to use a combination of timeouts and some tempo.
Here's the snap, a handoff, looking to run up the right side. Breaks through kind of the initial surge and pushes his way up back to the original line of scrimmage.
And I'll tell you,
Scott
Joe,
on the carry for a
our
gain of
guy
4,
Garcia
brings up
was
third
back
down
there
for
again.
the Cowboys.
He didn't make the tackle, but he's getting so much pressure getting back there, it gives the running back a very difficult time to get going. He can't really get his momentum, and then the Bengals are able to come in and clean it up. But it looks like they're going to let it go to the half here.
Yeah, that is the end of the half with the Bengals leading the Cowboys by a score of 14-0. We're going to step aside for a quick little break. We're going to keep your eyes on the field, though. You can keep it, and then we'll jump back on right before the half gets back underway. But right now in the Division II championships, Bengals 14, Cowboys nothing. You're watching the Toy Bowl live on stfanclub.com. And we are back here in the pit, Bowling Green Junior High School. Second half about to get underway between the Bengals and the Cowboys. Division II of the Warren County Youth Football League. Brandon Phillips will join me here in a little bit. He's actually down on the field, hanging out with his son, getting some pictures taken. They'll be back up here in a minute, but Cole's been doing the PA duties up here while Dad's been joining me on the radio call. Glad to have both of them here covering tonight's festivities. Bengals have jumped out to the 14-0 lead, 2 touchdowns. First time they went for the kick, did not get it. Second time did get the 2-point extra kick to go through, so that's how they have 14. Cowboys moved the ball on a couple occasions, picked up a few first downs, but not really been in a position to score so far. The Bengals defense has just been tough, particularly up the middle. They have been very good so far in tonight's game. All the Cowboys have been able to run a few up the middle to pick up a couple yards, but again, just have not been able to get in a position to score. And the Bengals, who defense has been stellar, the offense has been able to run the ball down the field pretty soundly. And I believe it is the offense for the Bengals who are back out there.
This half brought to you by Imagine Dragons.
There you go. Proud supporters of youth athletics.
Bengals set to receive the second half kickoff.
Get this underway here. Cowboys set to kick. I should pan the camera over to the Cowboys to kick this one away, maybe. Maybe let them see that. Here comes the kick. It's a nice kick down the field, and it's a scoop up by the Bengals. Chance for a return.
Nice
looking to get to the outside. Breaking free, and it's a pretty nice return in the Cowboy territory.
Returned by McCombs for 30 yards.
A nice job by McCombs. Gets it inside the
That's a first down for the
45.
Bengals.
Well, Joe, we were talking about this in the Division I Toy Bowl, and you're kind of in this scenario now where the Cowboys where there is a lot of football left to play.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a very important drive for them defensively. If the Bengals are able to put another touchdown on the board here and use a little clock in the process, really put you behind the 8 ball.
Really good. Here comes a snap, a run to the right side. Flag before we get the play underway. We may be in the same position that we were on a touchdown run by the Bengals earlier.
Jackson on
That
Smith on the
formation
carry
not quite
for
getting set before the
10
snap.
yards.
Looks like
Flag
we're
on
going to be
the
bringing
play.
it back. Yep, an illegal shift by the Bengals. We'll be moving this one back.
Pinson, is coming back on the penalty, but Pinson over there with the tackle, he is a good-sized kid, and he can move. He's making plays downfield. Obviously, you don't want your D-line having to make plays downfield.
Yeah.
But, he's coming behind. He's running down running backs. He's made some really big plays tonight.
Replay the first down. Chunky yards to go. Set up now on the 48-yard line. Here comes the snap and a handoff with the run over to the right side. What a juke to
Nice
the inside.
cut by Dotson. Good tackle, too.
Dotson selling that run to the outside with froze 2 defenders there that were waiting for him on the outside. Then he cut it in and picks up a good chunk of yards on the carry.
Tackle by number 40, Barbalis.
Barbalis in on the tackle. So now you got a whole host of receivers bunched up on the right-hand side for the Bengals. Here comes a snap and a run up the middle this time. Gains a couple.
Smith on the carry.
Smith just taking the snap and trying to run it himself up the middle.
Yeah.
For a gain of
A couple of
4.
direct snaps here. Again, the Bengals really mix up formations. Sometimes they're quarterbacks back there. Sometimes it's a running back, and we've seen 2 or 3 running backs take direct snaps tonight.
It's a third down for the Bengals.
And 27 is Nathan Freeman. I had him wrong on my spotter sheet here. He had the tackle. It wasn't Barbalis. It was Freeman. We want to make sure we get his name out there because that was a great solo tackle.
Embry Dotson at quarterback takes a snap, fakes the handoff, and then just runs it up the middle, getting up to the 30. Going to be enough for the first down on that play.
For a gain of 3.
Yeah, and the clock will stop at 6:08 as they move the chains, but then they'll wind it. And again, Joe, this is that kind of drive that you really like to see in the third quarter when you're an offense that's up by a couple of scores.
Absolutely. And again, we saw it in that first game tonight. The Broncos were able to take 6 of the 8 minutes in that third quarter on the opening drive and punched it in for a touchdown as well. Bengals looking to do the same thing here, looking to make it a 3-score game. Take some time off the clock while they're at it. Here's a snap, run to the right side. Smith on the carry. Took the direct snap, got across the 30, diving ahead. Gained about a yard or so.
Smith on the keeper.
Yeah, good pursuit there by the Cowboys. And, you know, what you're seeing this quarter, similar to what we saw in the second quarter with Garcia, is Jamarion Rice, the offensive lineman for the Bengals. And you can see him out there. He's the tallest guy on the line. It seems like they're moving him around. You know, as they move the backs and receivers to set up these stack or bunch formations, he's a part of that movement.
Maybe looking for a run to the left here. Here's the snap. And here comes a sweep over to the left-hand side. Runs it back in between the tackles, looking towards the middle. Ball fumbled, but it goes right into the hand of another Bengal.
I was going to say, Delt got really lucky there.
Drop on the carry for a gain of 4. Fumble on the play recovered by the Bengals. Brings up 3rd down for the Bengals.
Malone. That was Christian Malone on the fumble recovery.
Yep.
Delt makes a really nice cut. Bengals pop him. Ball comes out. They hit him right on the ball, but Malone is in the right place at the right time, and Coach Dew will probably be giving him a treat for that one.
3rd down here for the Bengals. Ball on the 25. Here's a snap. Fake the handoff, and now, a little okey-doke there from Dotson moving it along. Gets the 1st down and a few more yards.
6.
Yeah, that was I was trying to see over there to see who was
First down for the Bengals.
on the tackle. I think that was, I can't quite see over there. Was that Scott?
Tackle by number
Yeah, I think that was Scott. So Ontario Scott, we've seen him on offense tonight. He's the corner to that side. He got just enough to stop that play and keep it from going to the house.
Dotson stepping back in at quarterback. He's got Smith behind him as the lone running back. Here's the snap. Handoff to Smith. Gets
Ball's on the
fumbled.
ground again.
And Smith able to dive on top of it to keep the possession. It'll bring up 2nd down.
By Smith for the Bengals. Brings up 2nd down for the Bengals.
You know, and I would imagine that if you're Coach Dew, head coach of the Bengals, this is not real exciting to see when you're trying to put together a nice drive and score. You've got good field position. You're on the move, and you've laid the ball on the ground twice on this drive. But fortunately, they've gotten it back.
They've been able to hold on to it, fake the handoff. Dotson going to run with it again. Cuts back towards the middle. Runs into a pile of Cowboys and moves it up to about the 15-yard line.
Dotson on the carry for a gain of 3. Brings up 3rd down.
Which will bring up
Bengals.
3rd down. But again, you're in 2-down territory here. You lost some yards on that 1st down because of the fumble coming loose. They've got this into a manageable situation, and again, continuing to run down clock. I mean, even if the Bengals don't score here, they've run off a good chunk of time here in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, we're at 3:30 and rolling. As you said, Joe, and, you know, unless they pop a big play here, you run another 2 to 3 plays here, and you're able to convert on a score, you're set in a really good position.
Dotson in the gun, running back behind him, and that's Smith again. Here's the snap. Fake the handoff again, and Dotson going to run it himself up the left. A ton of real estate up the middle, and he's in. Touchdown, Bengals. So Dotson just driving it down the field. And this time found the crease up the left tackle, and he puts it in for the score.
Nice play by Dotson. He fakes the handoff. He sees a lane. He takes off, and he's into the end zone. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Bengals.
Huge drive there. Again, taking over 5 minutes, or about 5 minutes, off the clock in the 3rd quarter. And now puts them up by 3 score. They're going to go for 2 here on the kick.
And it's up.
Kick
Looks
is
like
up,
it's good.
and it is good. The kick by
Jones' kick
Andrew
is good for the
Jones to
Bengals.
knock it through.
Score 22-0 Bengals.
Andrew now with 2 straight extra points. And again, those are big extra points as this game goes on.
Well, apparently I didn't update the last touchdown. It was still sitting on 6-0 on the scoreboard. Now it's 22-0. It jumped up real quick. The Bengals moving it up the board. And again, now a 3-score lead in this game late in the 3rd quarter. This Division II championship game. And we thank you guys for joining us here on stfanclub.com or on the Sporting Times YouTube channel.
As a reminder, if your friends or family cannot attend the game,
of course, if you
game is being broadcast at stfanclub.com.
while you're visiting the Sporting Times YouTube channel, you can also check out past episodes of the Sporting Times TV show. And we have a WNKY NBC for you. Our past episodes go up on the YouTube channel as well as on our website, stfanclub.com. Here's the kickoff. Goes up high, now rolls past the Cowboys, and Well, he'll pick it up and just fall on top of
Jones's
it.
kick, recovered by
It's one of those where it's like we were talking about earlier, possess the ball.
Yep.
You know, if you can get a play, that's a bonus. But if the ball bounces around too long on those kickoffs, you got to make sure and get on it.
Barbala's trying to scoop it up, make a run, just kind of bounce through his hands a couple of times, and eventually he just takes the knee and gets the ball. And Cowboys will start off deep in their own territory, set up on the 26-yard line. Here comes a snap and a flag before we get things going.
On the play.
It's going to be a false start
False start
against the Cowboys. Moving the ball back here before we get the drive underway.
You have to hit play.
Setting it up again here. First down and good chunk of yards to go. Handoff and met immediately by the Bengals.
Yeah, good pressure by the defensive line there. You know, it looked for a minute like the Cowboys had created a lane, but the running back just could not get there because of the pressure they got in the backfield.
Carried by Lightfoot.
Tackled back at the 18-yard line. Again, this drive started around the 26, and due to the penalty and loss of yards on that last play, we're tucked in deep, and now a handoff, and again, they kind of bumped off of each other on that handoff, and it buys enough time for the Bengals to break through and get a tackle in the backfield again.
Yeah, and the defensive end, Graham, is there for the tackle as Lightfoot was about to break it. Let's take a look at the offenses and defenses this quarter right now for the Bengals. Nolan Love, defensively Grayson Rogers, Samuel Garcia, Christopher Coron, Logan Johnson, Mason Dew, Brady Delk, young man we just spoke about, Montrevion Graham, Andrew Jones, Cooper Kroom, and Isaac Wilson.
Here comes the snap on a third down. Pitch off to the right-hand side, trying to get a run, and again tackled
Garcia
in the backfield. Garcia on the tackle. Just grabbed on and went backwards.
Yep. Offensively for the Cowboys this quarter, Weston Aiken still at quarterback. Trey Offit, Ontario Scott, Braden Lightfoot, Tavion Curtis, Nathaniel Cherry, Aiden Barisa, Ashton Phillips, Eli Hardy, DeMontre Barnett, and C.J. Gardner. And, again, that Bengals defensive line has really made itself known and had a presence in this game. They've pushed the Cowboys into a fourth and, I don't know, a long way, Joe.
Back at the 15-yard line. They needed to get up to the 31 is where they needed to get to pick up a first down. So they're punting this one away, and saw the special teams for the Bengals trying to raise their arms up, get the crowd to make some noise as they came out onto the field. Now the chance for the return. Getting to that outside, gets the edge, and now runs it up the right sideline and gets it back to past the original line of scrimmage for the Cowboys on that drive. So it's very short field for the Bengals here in this third quarter. They've got the chance to maybe get another touchdown in this quarter. Really put this one away.
Yeah, and if you're the Cowboys, desperate times right now. You really and what you need here, Joe, and I know it's easier said than done, you've got to find a turnover. Somebody here has to make a play, get in, strip a ball, find some way to get this ball back and get your offense back on the field and get a little momentum going in your direction.
Ball set up on the 24-yard line on the Cowboys side of the field. And well, the Bengals are trying to bring on some guys onto the field, and they're going to use a timeout here. Ran some time off the clock, and then they use a timeout. I don't know if they use any time there because, again, they're just starting the drive. But get the timeout. Just couldn't quite get everybody out on the field and get set. So they'll use their first timeout of the half. But
well, again, we talked about this earlier. I mean, even at this age group, Division II is 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. At this point of the year, you're going to be about as efficient as you can be, and for some teams that might mean very few moments of confusion, I would rather say, on substitutions. But it still happens, and so even here, even in the Toy Bowl, so we've seen it. But, fortunately for the Bengals, you're in a pretty good position. Take a timeout, regroup, get your lineup right, and get back out there.
Look, here's the thing. It's cold.
Yeah,
and
it's gotten a lot colder in this game.
It's like me myself, I have difficulty keeping focus when it's this cold. Imagine what it is for these kids in this weather.
I think you're doing a wonderful job, Joe. I think you're being way too critical of yourself.
Just say you hit out here and it's in the 40s. It's not as cold as it was last night during the high school contest. It was cold last night during the high school contest. We were in the 30s for that.
Playoff time in Kentucky, Joe.
McCombs on the carry
Snap
for a
over
gain
the
of
right
1.
side. Gains a yard
Tackled by
on the
Huston
carry.
Cowboys. Brings up second down for the Bengals.
Bring up a second down.
Got 7 seconds left here in the third quarter. I would imagine the Bengals will just run this out.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking
Looks like
their
they're
time.
going to do it.
And there it is, end of the third quarter. Taking their time there, did not get the play off, and we'll bring up the fourth quarter. Bengals players holding up 4 fingers. They're ready to pack this one in, get themselves a Toy Bowl championship. They're 1 quarter away, leading the Cowboys 22-0. You guys can join us again here on stfanclub.com and Sporting Times YouTube channel.
I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for the
Joe Brunk, Brandon Phillips here with you.
Reminder, there are concessions available up on the hillside. We'll have a trophy presentation following.
And there will be trophy presentation. There will be an MVP award given out as well.
Back behind the press box.
We'll keep the broadcast on here during the trophy presentation and the MVP award.
You know, Joe, there was a in the first game, Newdecker really. I mean, it was not a one-man game.
It was an easy choice.
But it was a,
yeah.
And here, you've got a lot of guys making plays.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it for both teams. Bengals offensively, we've seen a lot of guys carry the ball, some direct snaps to running backs, quarterbacks.
Yep.
McCombs has a touchdown. Graham has a touchdown. Dotson has a touchdown.
Dotson at quarterback right now, takes a snap from the gun. Now looking to throw, goes up the middle, catch is complete, and they're going to run it in for the touchdown.
That's Logan Johnson.
Bengals get the pass play. First time we've seen them go to the air tonight. And Dotson.
Complete to Logan Johnson for the touchdown.
Touchdown to Logan Johnson, and that puts the Bengals in the end zone again. Now 28-0 with the extra point pending.
Well, now you've got another guy scoring a touchdown, and Dotson on the throwing end of that one.
Yeah. Dotson involved with 2 scores in this game.
That was a really nice pass. Good play by Logan. He was able to pull it in, turn around, and they've not done that tonight. And if you're the Cowboys, you're really starting to sell out on the run. It was a really good time to run that play, and they executed.
Cowboys hopping up and down. This kick, a high kick up and in.
It's good.
So that makes the score Bengals 30. And I believe our video feed froze up again, so let me make a quick adjustment here, and we'll get the video stream back running for you.
So with 7:54 remaining here, the Bengals take a 30-0 lead and seem to be well on their way to finishing out this Toy Bowl. But the Cowboys have had a tremendous season. They're a team that plays with a lot of heart, a lot of fight, and I don't expect them to finish this game in any other fashion. They're still going to bring it.
They're going to keep playing to the final buzzers. We still have this almost the entire fourth quarter to go in this one. Again, the Cowboys 5-5 in the regular season, but picked up a nice win in their semifinal game.
Big game
over
there.
the Niners. The Niners had beaten the Cowboys in the last game of the regular season by 1 point. And then there was another tight one in the semifinal as they met up. And this time the Cowboys held on for the win. And now a return by the Cowboys up the middle.
Nice return. I told you. Joe, what did I tell you about that man?
Up the right side. And the Bengals eventually catch up to him, but not before a great return.
Hey, what did we talk about earlier? I said you could see, and I was expecting an offense, but it ends up being a special teams play. Scott finds a little crease. He zigzags in and out, and he gets up the sideline, and he about took that to the house.
Ontarius Scott moving this one inside the 30 up to the 27-yard line for the Cowboys, trying to give some life to his team here. We'll see if the offense responds. See if the Cowboys can get on the board for the first time this year against the Bengals. You got 3 running backs in the backfield. Here's the snap. Handoff going up the middle. Spin move, breaking through.
Nice
Big
run.
gain. Run up the middle.
I believe that was Barbalos on that play.
On the carry for
We
a
saw
gain
that on a
15.
couple of carries from
Tackled by
him
number
early
8,
on, but we haven't
Hancock,
seen
and
him
number
much
23, Graham.
in terms of carrying
So
the ball.
first down for the Cowboys.
Cowboys are going to go tempo here.
Having to move quick here, trailing 30 to
Barbalos
nothing.
again.
Barbalos going to get the run up the middle.
Barbalos on the
May
carry
have
for
gained
no
about a
gain,
yard.
tackled by a host of Bengals, brings up second down for the Cowboys.
Makes it 2nd and goal.
No. Yes. Yeah.
Bengals bringing in a substitution.
Yeah, it looks like Jackson Smith limping off here.
You hate to see that. He has had a really good game for the Bengals on the offensive end.
Andrew Jones comes in. Cowboys here, second down. Looking to get some points on the board.
Goal line again, and now we have a timeout taken.
Timeout, Bengals.
Bengals taking the timeout. They sent a few guys in there as Smith was coming off, so making sure they've got everything set there for the Cowboys, trying to punch it in for their first score of the game.
I think that's the Bengals' second timeout, and again, just trying to make sure they've got the lineup right here as the Cowboys are looking to get on the board.
And these two teams met twice in the regular season. They were scheduled for 3. There was a day where nobody got to play in the division, and they only got to play twice. Bengals won both of them 38-0 early in the season, and the second time a little bit closer, 14-0.
Yes, and you know, kind of like we talked about earlier with the Broncos, lost a game early and then started rolling. And certainly the Cowboys are 5-5, not 9-1, but it was kind of the same story. You know, had a few hiccups early and really started to roll late. And you could see that in their performance against the Bengals the second time around.
Then again, played a tight game against the 49ers, who were 7-3 in the regular season. At the end of the regular season, the Niners beat the Cowboys. I believe it was 19-18. It was a very tight game, and then a very close game again in the semifinals. Cowboys able to hold on, get the win in that one, and that's how they're here tonight. Here comes the snap, and looking for a run up the middle, and the Bengals stand them up.
Fumble on the
Actually
play.
picked up the
Bengals got
fumble. Not only did they stand him up, they forced the fumble, and they pick it up.
Recovery by number 40, Bo Bryant.
Bo Bryant with the recovery there for the fumble. The Cowboys were knocking on the door and not going to be able to punch it in.
Bengals taking over, and we're probably getting close to at least the midway, probably getting late in the fourth quarter at this point. I believe we have the running clock in effect. I believe I heard you guys talking. As the Bengals leading 30-0. Cowboys taking over, but they're deep in their own territory here. Everybody's just lined up across the line there. A little quarterback Dotson going to keep it. Scrambles up forward for a couple yards, moving up to the 15.
Brings up second down for the Bengals.
Almost like a flying V formation, what you're looking at there. Just kind of everybody branched out from the ball. Trying to give Dotson as much room as he can to just kind of keep it up the middle, make sure they don't lose yards going backwards. And now we've got another lineman for the Bengals looking to come off, limping off the field. Another substitution coming in.
Yeah, and the thing is, as it gets cold, and we've noticed it up here in the booth, it's gotten colder as the night has gone on, and those helmets start to hit ankles and knees and elbows. And earlier on, not that that ever feels good,
No.
but when it's cold, it really doesn't feel good.
Here comes a snap and a handoff. Looking to run it up the left-hand side. Cowboys able to meet him in the backfield.
Good pursuit there by the Cowboys.
Loss of
Graham
yards on the carry. Graham on the carry.
Brings up third down for the Bengals.
I'll bring up third down.
Yeah, the Cowboys, you know, you're at this point, you know, the game's probably out of reach, but you continue to play hard. You'd love to see them get a stop here, get that offense back on the field, and try to get some points on the board here.
Yeah,
at the Toy Bowl.
I think if they can get themselves in a position where they can get some points on the board, at least get some kind of good feeling at the end of this night. Again, You feel good for making it to the championship. Oh, how about we get that camera on the field here? Get it on the ball, actually. How about that? Snap in the direct carry. Graham moving up the sideline. He got pushed out of bounds. Past the 25-yard line up to about the 28-yard line. That's enough for the first down, and the Bengals now get some breathing room from their own end zone and a chance to just run down some more clock. Trying to dance on that sideline a little bit. Couldn't quite stay in play, though.
You know, sometimes as a defense, it helps to have the 12th man. And in that scenario, that 12th man is the sideline.
Keeping it with Graham back there, running the ball for the Bengals. Receivers bunch on the right side. Now they give it off on the sweep. McCombs running up the left side. Got a juke step to the inside. Runs back towards the hash marks where he's brought down
corner for a 5-yard gain.
Near the 30-yard line.
That's second down for the Bengals.
Got about 2 minutes left here.
2:03 and rolling.
Again, the Bengals have done such a good job. Each time they've gotten the ball, they've been able to take off a good chunk of time during their drives. A little fix of the helmet there for McCombs. He'll sit back up as a receiver over on the right-hand side. Here comes the snap. Rolling over to the left side is Graham. Gets past the 40 up to 45, still on his feet, moving up the sideline. He's off to the races. Nobody in front of him. Nobody will catch him. Touchdown, Bengals. Big-time run by Graham on the carry.
5-yard touchdown.
Looks like we may have a flag on the play.
On the play. This one's coming back. How many times have we had the Bengals break off a big-time run for a touchdown that's been called back due to a penalty? 2 times it's been because of an illegal shift. That time, a holding penalty will bring this one. Got about a minute to go here. Everybody running back, get back in formation. The Bengals probably going to be in a good position to just run out the clock on this possession.
Yeah, you're at 54 seconds and rolling here with the running clock. Could pretty much go into potentially victory formation. Looks like you're going to put McCombs back there for the direct snap. This could be the last play.
Here comes the snap. Look for the throw. Going deep on the play, and it's tipped down incomplete. Good coverage there by the Cowboys.
Yeah, McCombs looking for Dotson going down the sideline. Dotson's been a little bit all over. He's run one, he's thrown one, and looking to catch one. You got 11 seconds left here.
Yep, and so the coach for the Bengals is bringing them over. He's saying, look, we've got this one done. We're going to wrap it up, bring it back over, and claim ourselves a Toy Bowl championship, and that is what they do. Bengals are your Toy Bowl champions. The final score of Bengals 30, Cowboys nothing. The coach gets a bath from the cooler, and now the Bengals flag flying out on the field as they have claimed the Toy Bowl championship.
Yeah, just a real complete performance by the Bengals.
Yep.
You know, they controlled the game from beginning to end. Strong first half and really put it away in the second half. And, again, congratulations to the Cowboys on a tremendous season and making it to the Toy Bowl this year.
Yeah, great run through the playoffs. Unseated the 49ers in a great matchup in the semifinals. Get themselves here to the championship. Getting great performance from both teams, but championship goes to the Bengals. They win big in this one, 30-0. We're going to keep it here on the field for the trophy presentation and the MVP award. All that's going to be announced here shortly. Again, I want to thank you guys for joining us here for our coverage of the Toy Bowl on stfanclub.com and the Sporting Times YouTube page. So big congratulations to Nick Dew and the Bengals. Coaching staff, Jody Bryant, the offensive coordinator, Chris Coron, the defensive coordinator, Chad Pierce in charge of special teams with assistant coaches of Dave Carter, Sean Wilson, and Josh Hancock, and Randy Knuckles, the spotter for this Bengal team. They outscored opponents 394-12 in the regular season, and with a bunch of different backs and really mixing up the look and made it tough for the defense of the Cowboys to keep up with them. We're going to take it to the field here. Again, the trophy presentation. We'll have the runner-up trophies given out to the Cowboys first, followed by the championship trophy to the Bengals.
For the 2019 Warren County Youth Football League Division II Toy Ball. A couple of thank yous real quick. We want to thank the Warren County Parks Department for all of their efforts in helping put this event on.
It's been a nice event here for the Toy Bowl here at the pit at Bowling Green Junior High. They did a really nice job preparing the field. A nice box for us to broadcast from. Certainly appreciate that, keeping us out of the cold as much as possible.
The 2019 Division II Toy Bowl runner-up, the Cowboys.
Cowboys being recognized first here.
Number 12, John Turner.
John Turner.
Number 14, Carter Boyd.
Carter Boyd.
Number 15, Braden Lightfoot.
Braden Lightfoot.
Number 27, Nathan Freeman.
Nathan
Number
Freeman.
29, Weston Akins.
Weston Akins.
Number 30, Logan Boyer. Number 31, Trey Offit.
Trey Offit.
Number 32, Jude Hall.
Jude Hall.
Number
Logan
33,
Boyer.
Kyle Sledge.
Kyle Sledge.
Number 34, Ontario Scott.
Ontario Scott.
Number 35, Levi Faulkner.
Levi Faulkner.
Number 36, Brandon Venata.
Brandon Venata.
Number 37, Clay Steff.
Clay Steff.
Number 40, Andrew Barbalas.
Andrew Barbalas.
Number 41, Trent Doyle.
Trent Doyle.
Number 46, Berto Mong.
Berto Mong.
Number 49, Reese Davidson.
Reese Davidson.
Number 50, Eli Hardy.
Eli Hardy.
Number 52, Tavian Curtis.
Tavian Curtis.
Number 53, Jacoye Caleb.
Jacoye Caleb.
Number 54, Hayden McDavitt.
Hayden McDavitt.
Number 59, Nathaniel Cherry.
Nathaniel Cherry.
Number 60, Bradley Martin.
Bradley Martin.
Number 70, Ethan Freiberg.
Ethan Freiberg.
Number 71, Atlas Pinson.
Atlas Pinson.
Number 75, Aiden Barisa.
Aiden Barisa.
Number 79, DeMontre Barnett.
DeMontre Barnett.
Number 88, Cash Carter.
Cash Carter.
Number 90, Christopher Gardner.
Christopher Gardner.
And number 91, Ashton Phillips.
And Ashton Phillips. There you go. The Cowboys 2019 Division II Toy Bowl runner-up. Congratulations to those guys and their season. Now time to recognize the champions, the Bengals. We'll name them off here as they come up for their trophy.
Division II Toy Bowl champions, the Bengals. Number 7, Christian Malone.
Christian Malone.
Number 8, Drew Pierce.
Drew Pierce.
Number 9, Easton Hancock.
Easton Hancock.
Number 10, Isaac Wilson.
Isaac Wilson.
Number 12, Drew Jones.
Drew Jones.
Number 13, Jeremiah McCombs.
Jeremiah McCombs.
Number 15, Embry Dotson.
Henry Dotson.
Number 16, Nolan Love.
Nolan Love.
Number 17, Lucas Jenkins.
Lucas Jenkins. How about this? The
19, Jackson
Bengals
Good.
coming over And again,
Number 20,
giving high
Brady
fives to
Dell.
the Cowboys as they go for their trophies. Brady
Number
Delt,
21, Cooper Kroom.
Cooper Kroom,
Number 22, Mason Dew.
Mason Dew,
Number 23, Montrevion Graham.
Montrevion Graham,
Number 27, Jackson Smith.
Jackson Smith,
Number 29, Grayson Rogers.
Grayson Rogers,
Number 40, Bo Bryant.
Bo Bryant,
Number 41, Eli Powell.
Eli Powell,
Number 42, Jalen Bailey.
Jalen Bailey,
Number 43, Kane Crabtree.
Kane Crabtree,
Number 45, Nicholas Reed.
Nicholas Reed,
Number 50, Deontay Shannon.
Deontay Shannon,
Number 52, Christopher Coron.
Christopher Coron,
Number 53, Logan Johnson.
Logan Johnson,
Number 60, Brooks Knuckles.
Bruce Knuckles,
Number 77, Caleb Gray.
Caleb Gray.
And now
There you
we'd like
go,
to
the
present the 2019
Bengals.
Division II Toy Bowl Championship
Division
trophy
II
to the
Toy Bowl
Bengals.
champions. 10-0 in the regular season, dominating throughout this year.
And number 88, Aiden Garcia. Number 86, Samuel Garcia.
Samuel Garcia.
Good job, Samuel. And number 88, Jamarion Rice. And now the presentation, again, of the Division II Toy Bowl trophy to the Bengals.
Bengals celebrating midfield.
We now want to recognize
It's time to name the
the
MVP.
Toy Bowl MVP. And for Division II, we're going to have an offensive and a defensive,
So we got
MVP.
offensive and defensive MVP for tonight's game.
MVP for the Toy Bowl for the Bengals, number 15, Embry Dotson.
For the offense, it was Embry Dotson. Quarterback, ran for a touchdown, threw for a touchdown.
And the defensive MVP for the Bengals, number 20, Brady Dell.
Brady Delt, the defensive
We wanna
MVP. So congratulations to those guys on the MVP performances they gave and helped lead the Bengals to this 30-0 victory. Big thanks to all you guys for tuning in for tonight's game. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast of the Toy Bowl. Big thanks to Brandon Phillips for joining me on color commentary. I would be struggling through this game without his commentary. I've been lost without him. So big thanks to him. Of course, a big thanks to the Warren County Youth Football League for allowing us to come and stream the games. And big thanks to all you guys again for joining us. Again, your final, the Bengals 30, the Cowboys nothing. Thanks for joining us here on stfanclub.com, the Sporting Times YouTube channel, all part of the Sporting Times broadcast network. Good night.